Come Dragon Gaming.
Oh, did I say Dragon? Dungeon. Okay. Dungeon. Don't laugh.
Dead Rising is a very unique game. On the surface, it seems to be a zombie massacre sandbox where you can live out all of your fantasies of mowing down crowds at a mall and taking creepy pictures of women with no repercussions. However, the true meat of the game is trying to solve the mystery behind the outbreak while stuck within the game's notorious time restraints. You can make your life easier by rescuing survivors to level up and by defeating the game's bosses to unlock more effective weapons, but juggling these tasks while being swamped by zombies and escorting survivors who have been drinking from lead pipes for years truly test your skill in time management and crowd clearing. Playing this game is very similar to trying to make it to McDonald's before breakfast ends at 10:30. Your route takes you through a school zone full of jaywalking elementary schoolers, and brother, it's 10:20. You know what must be done to acquire the bacon, egg, and cheese McGriddle. But enough about last Tuesday. I've been playing Dead Rising for quite some time, and have been looking for something to spice up the gameplay for a little while. After trying to make a short music video using Dead Rising, I came across a mod tool in the Dead Rising forums that added many cheats and functions into the game. Among the God Mode cheats and gameplay changes, I noticed one option that had been highlighted in an ominous shade of red: nightmare zombies. With this newfound challenge ahead of me, the only thing going through my mind was this: can you beat Dead Rising with nightmare zombies? The challenge is fairly simple on paper. The rules I've set for this challenge are that number 1, zombies must be in nightmare mode the whole time. Why else would I be doing the challenge? Number 2, the story mode must be completed with the true ending obtained. While the story mode can technically be completed by you sitting in the security room doing absolutely nothing, nobody wants to watch me sit there for 3 days and turn the security room into my own personal goon cave. Number 3, I must reach level 50. I'm doing this so that I can interact with as much of the game as possible, and to avoid the gooning in the security room problem. Number 4, I must defeat all psychopaths. For one, it would get me closer to level 50, and also because that guy there called me a name I dare not repeat on YouTube, lest we get banned like our Twitter. And number 5, no small chainsaw, the best weapon in the game. It would make the challenge a little too easy, I'll explain later. With these rules in mind, we begin our descent into a high-impact, high-speed hell. The game begins with me stepping into the Gucci loafers of one Frank West, an ogre-like brute of a photojournalist, following up on a tip that something is going down in the town of Willamette, Colorado. Our progress on the run begins with us taking pictures of the world's most brutal tickle fight, a metaphor for the American education system, something that will be on LiveLeak in about a week or so, and the most poorly timed hug I have ever seen. Doing this has given me an ever so slight boost to my PP, or prestige points. PP is what you need to level up and increase your chances of survival. With my PP gone from flaccid to a mild chub, I asked my helicopter pilot to forgive me for the amount of PP jokes I'm going to make in this video and take me to the center of town. On our way there, we are accosted by the biggest party poopers to have ever existed, the federal government. The pilot takes evasive maneuvers, and in the process, I lose what I assume to be either camera equipment or Marcellus Wallace's soul. Frank instructs the pilot to take him down to the helipad, where he proceeds to jump out of the helicopter, fail the landing, and die instantly, failing our run. And just kidding. Death comes later, and with a vengeance for making light of it with this joke. After recovering from an at least 4 foot, maybe 5 foot fall, I don't know, I'm greeted by a mysterious Latinx man who acts very mysterious and gives me no information as to what exactly is going on in this town. While something does seem off about this character, I ignore any voices in my head that tell me this man is any sort of villain. After finishing my conversation with my new best buddy Carlito, I go into the security room for a quick game of Five Nights at Freddy's. One of the things you'll notice about starting the game at level 1 is that Frank moves incredibly slow, has only 4 blocks of health, and has none of his signature Frank West abilities. Surely the first encounter with the undead will go swimmingly. doesn't. I enter the entrance plaza and discover a motley crew of friends to survive this outbreak with. There's lovable old Granny Gumdrops, sexy Latina mommy, Cock Blockerton, Freddy and Chris, the honor-bound guardians of the door, Pipe Dude and Shotgun Larry, two chicks will become my concubines after the greater part of society collapses due to the zombie outbreak, and an old couple and some guy in a yellow shirt. I don't know, I didn't really talk to them that much. Also encountered within the entrance plaza is my first look at the main challenge of this video, the nightmare zombies. I must keep the new brown stains in my pants and smell coming from it away from the sexy Latina woman, so I head to the back of the plaza to try to find a new pair of pants. On my way to a clothing store, I meet a mysterious old man and begin to immediately snap photos of him. This old man has the audacity to be mad at me for taking photos of him, and I don't know why he should be honored, but I stand my ground and assert my right to take photos of random people against their will, and the old man shirks away. My Chadley powers have once again saved the day. While I was preoccupied by yelling at old men, I was not there to save the day when Granny Gumdrops began hallucinating her ugliest grandchild begging for her help. Frightened at what the child could tell the police, she begins to disassemble the barricade to silence the child permanently. The fear of her crimes being exposed to the world filled her with enough adrenaline to knock out the honor guards of the door. She goes into the horde to silence a child that isn't there and is immediately torn apart by zombies. One of the honor guards, crestfallen by his failures, lies on the floor, writhing in fear and pain, and accepts death as a zombie begins to chew on his carotid artery. Suddenly, a man in a yellow shirt politely informs us that the only way to safety is up the stairs to the security room. The cutscenes end, and all hell breaks loose directly onto me and only me. A horde of zombies ignore both the mouth-breathing free male sitting around the plaza and quickly swarm me. I try to dodge, but soon find myself surrounded. I'm level 1, have no weapons or unarmed moves that can really help me. I'm honestly as helpless as a baby thrown into an ice-cold pond. Despite these dire circumstances, this baby will not go silently into the night. I try to make it to the stairs, jumping for the brief immunity to grabs while midair, but still being attacked by zombie scratches and getting grabbed occasionally, bringing me down to a single block of health. Despite this, I'm just barely able to get through the crowd, and at the end of it, there's only a few zombies between me and the safe stairs. However, during my struggle, Shotgun Larry sees an opportunity to take out the true alpha of the Willowette Parkview Mall, and conveniently shoots me in the chest with his shotgun while trying to clear out the horde of zombies around me. My vision dims, and I can feel the cold death filling my lungs. Another victim of Granny Gumdrops at the bottom of the pond. With that, the run was over. Or so I thought. If you die in the intro, the game will give you a freebie, and the cold hands of death are swatted away by a pair of even colder, bonier hands. You're saved by the janitor, Otis, who works on Spider-Man rules in which you only get one free save. I let Otis know that I owe him one, which I'm sure will come back to bite me in the ass later. Inside, I meet the man in the yellow shirt, who I come to find out is named Brad, and Jesse, one of Capcom's underrated characters for reasons only true men of culture can appreciate. She asks for my camera, and thankfully avoids seeing any of the more embarrassing things I've left in the camera roll. She sees the image of the old man from the entrance plaza and seems interested, but goes back to the security room in order to hide from my gentlemanly aura. After taking a quick nap to save, I am stopped by Otis, and he immediately cashes in the IOU I gave him, and gives me his phone number to talk whenever he's lonely and sees something interesting on the cameras. With that, I take the air vents out of the security room and into the zombie-infested mall. Outside, I come across the game's tutorial survivors, Jeff and Natalie. Saving them will net me a nice PP bonus, but in order to maximize the amount of PP gained, I have to take a photo of them hugging while I reunite them. Unfortunately, I used up my camera's battery taking pictures of people horribly dying throughout the tutorial, so I must venture into Paradise Plaza and grab a new battery from the camera shop. I leave the senile old couple on the roof while I make my way through the warehouse to Paradise Plaza, where senile old Otis calls me to tell me about his dog or something, I don't know. While in the warehouse, I feel the presence of something sneaking up behind me. Could it be a zombie? My latent schizophrenia finally coming out? Whatever it is, I arm myself with a fire extinguisher to finish the threat. Instead of being jumped by a zombie, I turn the corner and almost brain Jessie with the fire extinguisher. She informs me that Brad is under attack, and I inform her that her ankle is sprained. In order to save Brad, I'm going to need her gun. So, I hit her with my best line in order to simultaneously convince her of my firearms prowess, and to further woo this strong female girl boss.
I've covered wars, you know.
With the pistol acquired and the Jessie moistened, I move into Paradise Plaza, and I am immediately swarmed by the undead. The camera shop I need to get to is thankfully right next to the warehouse entrance, so I go in and quickly replace my battery. The horde is as vicious as it was in the entrance plaza, but this time I have a baseball bat that I picked up on the rooftop, which is able to knock down many of the zombies in front of me. I head back up to the roof and find Jeff, who somehow managed to hurt himself on the empty rooftop. Considering his wife is only a stone's throw away from him, and yet he cannot find her, I assume he choked on air and lost almost half of his health during the 5 minutes I've been gone. Anyways, I recruit Jeff for a nice 5,000 PP and reunite him with his similarly demented wife. Taking a photo of these lead-poisoned boomers hugging nets me a nice chunk of PP, and I level up to level 2. I recruit Natalie and take the two to the security room, taking me all the way up to level 3, and unlocking the jump kick move, which will prove incredibly useful throughout the run. Before I go to help Brad in the food court, I stop to pick up a mannequin torso. Mannequin torsos do an ungodly amount of damage for some reason, so taking one to speed up a boss fight will be necessary during the early parts of the run before I can find any better weapons. I grab a torso and immediately drop it in favor of a female torso for absolutely no reason at all. I have a bit of a feel now for what the zombies can do. I can dodge and weave through holes in the crowd, and if I'm surrounded, I can use my jump kick and baseball bat to clear out a short window of escape. Paradise Plaza is easily crossed, and I begin to think that this run might be easier than I was expecting. Entering the park, I realize I was horribly wrong, and I will be immediately punished for my insolence. The park is infested with a massive amount of zombies that all immediately detect me as I enter the area, and they swarm me. The low level that I am means that I am incredibly slow. Anything that slows me down further will be enough to get me surrounded by every zombie by the area and killed. On my way to the food court, I am ganged up on by a horde and have a bite taken out of my neck. As I kick my way out of the crowd, a zombie holding a knife slashes at me, bringing me down to a single block of health. I start sweating bullets when I see a bunch of zombies spawn directly in front of me in the food court entrance, but thankfully, with a bit of luck, I dodge a fatal swipe from a stray zombie and enter the food court to help Brad. I enter the food court, and I'm immediately met with a hail of gunfire, nearly cutting me in half. The only thing that could hurt me more in this food court is Brad's disappointed look when he sees me. Thankfully, the health bar only measures physical health, not emotional. We formulate a plan to attack the mysterious gunman, which I immediately ignore in order to heal myself with a refreshing gallon of chocolate milk. On my way up to defeat the gunman, Otis calls me at the most inopportune time, which will become a running gag of his, giving me an important quest that I must finish, but more on that later. I jump to the top of the facade to discover that our crazed gunman is in fact the friendly Latinx man from the roof. Truly, this is the ultimate betrayal in this game. Anyways, the fight is relatively simple. Take cover while he's shooting, close the gap, and attack. Despite taking several rounds to the chest and roundhouse kicks to the head, I managed to defeat the boss with only a few hits from my mannequin torso. And with that, that is the first psychopath of 19 or so defeated. Our gunman manages to get away, and during the confusion, I have technical difficulties that end up with me accidentally skipping the cutscene, so I'll just fill you in really quick. You're a civilian, you can't help us. We're on serious government business. I got a picture of your daddy. Okay, fine. After convincing Brad to let me go alongside him on his magical journey, he takes us to the entrance plaza to find the old man. During this, I notice that the zombies won't attack Brad whatsoever, and this confirms that the zombies won't attack NPCs, which I thought would make this run easier. However, we'll come to find out that it doesn't. The AI are still too stupid to survive. Brad and I leave the food court to head into the El Frasca Plaza. Generally, not much interesting happens or is within this plaza, but one of the worthwhile things about the area is the gym right next to the food court entrance. Not only does it have the closest bathroom to save your game in, but it also has several interactable treadmills and punching bags that will increase your PP. As Brad waited safe and sound by the entrance plaza, I smacked the punching bags to break them, netting me 2,000 PP each, with a nice 10k PP bonus after destroying them all. Moving on to the treadmills, I took a nice jog on all of the treadmills while contemplating the certain death that was looking me dead in the eyes, and received yet another nice boost to my PP. Now after all that cardio, the fat around the base of my PP bar has receded, leveling me up 2 levels, giving me an extra health block, and the zombie red skill, which will prove even more useful than the jump kick skill for getting out of crowds of zombies. After my workout, Brad and I reach the entrance plaza and meet with the old man, whose name is revealed to be Dr. Barnaby. Barnaby, realizing the chances a crotchety slow old man has against a mall full of undead Usain Bolts, has locked himself within a bookstore and won't come out. Smart move, and frankly, I would have done the same. Now he can sit in there and read all of the carpentry skill books, being able to make one hell of a base later on in the apocalypse. To convince him to leave, we're going to have to be able to guarantee him safe passage out of Willamette. Brad heads back to the security room to call for backup, and I'm left to my own devices in the entrance plaza. Day 1 of Dead Rising's 72-hour mode has a generally lower population of zombies in certain areas in order to ease new players into the game. Knowing this, I took a sigh of relief and answered Otis's phone call. As he briefed me on what was going on in the entrance plaza, I was immediately jumped by a zombie and his friends. Though zombie spawns or not, these bastards will not rest until I'm dead. I anger Otis by interrupting his phone call by having my jugular vein opened by a zombie's teeth. Apologizing for my ignorance, I listen to him talk about milk duds or something, I don't know, and proceed further into the plaza. I start by hitting up the antique shop, where I grab 2 battle axes to clear out zombies better than my baseball bat can. Almost on cue, after picking up the axes, a group of zombies run up to the shop and beg for their legs to be amputated, and I oblige them. I go to the shop across from the antique store and find a hidden survivor to save for some more bonus PP. Bill is hidden behind a wall of cardboard boxes. Apparently, he's an employee of the store that had been trapped behind a bunch of boxes containing a single baseball bat, plastic bear mask, or grapefruit. Frankly, I think he wanted to stay back there as long as possible to stay on the clock and then sue them when he was found later on. The only problem is that I caught him during the zombie apocalypse, ruining his plan. He leaves to go back home and is surprised by a corpse on the floor. Thankfully, this is the one time the old "he was a zombie, I had to kill him" trick works without a hitch, and I convince him to go with me to the security room. Before leaving the entrance plaza for the day, I put on a pair of cool sunglasses and am on my way. Transporting survivors is somewhat easier with the nightmare zombies than in the base game. Since the zombies ignore survivors, the only thing to do is to set a waypoint near the exit for the survivors to reach and lead the horde away while they run to it. Not having to worry about the survivors being eaten is a bit of a relief, as I will have a better chance dodging and fighting the zombies compared to the slightly less brain-dead residents of Willamette. While leading Bill back to the safe room, I stop in the food court to make the insanely useful Quick Step drink. Apparently, if you mix 2 gallons of milk into a blender, you can move insanely fast for short periods of time. Being lactose intolerant, this works for me in real life, but with a stomach pain debuff you don't get in the game. Anyways, I take Bill through the park and Paradise Plaza, and despite some close calls with my health, I get to the warehouse. Inside the warehouse, I'm surrounded by the slow cutscene zombies, and one really fast, really pissed off wasp. Killing the wasp triggers an autistic fit within the zombies, making their heads explode. Now, there will be zombies in the mall who spawn with these queen wasps on them. Taking the queen into one of Frank's suspicious jars and throwing it on the floor will kill every zombie within a small radius. Whatever. Just another day on this bitch of an earth, I don't care. Anyways, I got Bill to the safe house. Traumatized by everything he had seen on the way there, sure, but alive. Inside the security room, Brad and Jesse find that their calls to DHS HQ aren't going through, and that they're going to be trapped here until otherwise. I use the power of my cool sunglasses and leverage my helicopter ride in 3 days to get more information from the agents. Brad agrees and goes back into the mall to gather supplies. I too go into the mall. For tonight, I have things that are far more important than food or blankets. I have to kill people in order to make my PP even bigger. The main quest is on hold until the next morning, which gives me time to do anything I want until then. Tonight, I have several goals to complete for our first night within the mall. I have to defeat multiple psychopaths, finish the game's photography tutorial to unlock another fight down the line, and open up a secret shortcut between Paradise Plaza and the yet unvisited Wonderland Plaza. Surely for someone who has played an obscene amount of this game since release, this should be a piece of cake. I come to find out that it is not a piece of cake, not even a crumb of a cookie. I leave the security room and head over to Paradise Plaza to follow up on Otis's call earlier about another photographer I go to the cafe on the second floor to meet Kent, a fellow photographer who's pissed that I got in his shot while being chased by at least 10 zombies. One dead wasp later, and I convince him to give me a tutorial on photography that I totally, absolutely need. Stage 1 of the tutorial requires me to take a picture of this spiky-haired freak while he takes pictures of me. Easily done. Now the hard part. Kent requires me to take a picture of him doing his signature cool pose. Taking a photo of said cool pose under the constant barrage of zombies is rather difficult. He needs to be a certain distance from the crowd of zombies for him to take a photo, after which he will do his fruity-ass little pose, giving me a short window to get the photo at just the right angle to get the necessary 700 pp from the image. This is much harder with the zombies crowding us within this cramped sporting goods store. After a few minutes of clearing the zombies with Kent, I managed to take advantage of a zombie's AI getting tired and seeming to ignore us momentarily, and finally get to snap a shot of Kent in his pose, only to be a few pp shy of the requirement. I'm gonna be happy when I cave his skull in later in the game. Anyway, after mindlessly wandering for a little while, Kent rubs the single brain cell against his skull in just the right way to take a photo of a random slow zombie and do his pose, finally finishing this quest. If you're wondering as to why there's a few slow zombies that never run within the hordes, your guess is as good as mine as to why that doesn't happen. I've noticed that they're all the female zombies, and I don't think they have the animation to run unlike every other zombie. Anyways, Kent finishes up our encounter by showing me a voyeuristic photo of a lesbian couple, softcore pornography, and something from Ogrish. I'm not sure how he has access to my internet history, but I keep quiet in case this is just a coincidence. Kent gives me a challenge to come back with a better erotica photo than him tomorrow morning, so I accept the little freak's challenge and we go our separate ways. After my encounter with Kent, my blood pressure thankfully lowers back to normal levels, and I spend a little time getting ready for the rest of the night. I make myself 2 untouchable drinks, which will make me immune to zombie grabs for a short period of time, and I'm going to need that and some quick step if I'm going to make it through this next part. Entering the park, I'm accosted by some upstanding young individuals in a Humvee with a .50 caliber machine gun mounted on the back. Thankfully, a brave teen girl and her sugar daddy saved me from being run over or riddled with bullets by using the sugar daddy's soft-looking bald head to magnetically attract the passenger's baseball bat and crack his skull wide open. His sacrifice will not be in vain. I will save his teenage Discord kitten and continue running her OnlyFans in his honor. After the cutscene, I have a bitch of a time trying to recruit her. We're both surrounded by zombies, and if she's slightly nudged by one, the dialogue that I need to finish will be interrupted, making me go through the whole thing again. It makes it more difficult considering that she runs away from me, making it near impossible to clear out an area to have a few moments to yell at her. After a few tries, I manage to recruit her as the convicts sit and watch a romantic spectacle in the middle of the pond. I get Sophie and run into Paradise Plaza with her, leaving her a waypoint as I climb up an awning above her to grab a gallon of orange juice and an Uzi machine gun. Remember, the CIA has fully automatic weapons hidden in hard-to-reach places in every mall in real life. If you're able to reach them, they're yours. Anyway, I get her to the safe room in one piece and receive a level up for my troubles. Now, here's where the difficulty of the night begins to ramp up. The lights in the mall have gone off for the night to show how crazy things are going to get. I have 5 remaining psychopaths to defeat tonight, and yes, I'm going to count the convicts as 3 separate bosses. A sniper rifle will make the convicts much easier to defeat, so I make my way to the under-construction North Plaza in order to get to the gun shop and contend with its owner, Cletus. Inside, I meet the owner having a confrontation with another one of Willamette's brightest. Cletus threatens the man and tells him that if he comes any closer, he's going to get a chest full of buckshot. For some reason, the nameless moron doesn't take the threat of a drunk redneck with a shotgun seriously and promptly wins a Darwin Award and is thrown out of the store with a gaping hole in his chest. With me being the main character, I can approach this shotgun-wielding maniac with little to no fear of death. Starting the fight, I go for cover behind a store display and still take hits from stray pellets. The store displays require damn near pixel-perfect positioning in order to fully protect you from Cletus's gun. Getting hit throws you out of cover and opens you up to more shots. I thought that I could play this like Carlito's first fight, hiding behind cover and going up to slam a mannequin torso in his face to wipe out his health. My first try proves a failure as I get stun-locked and unable to heal, dying miserably. Oh well. Death is only a small setback when you took a fresh dump in the women's restroom 20 minutes ago. I reloaded my save and for some reason tried to fight the convicts, then gave up and went to make preparations for the Cletus fight. Still not sure as to why I did that, not gonna lie. Anyways, after wasting some of the juice trying to fight the convicts, I used the empty inventory space to hold a katana and an Uzi, both hidden on the awnings of Paradise Plaza. I make it back to the gun shop, and despite being low on health due to zombie attacks on my way to the shop, I begin the fight. This time I'm able to get in a decent position behind the store display and unload my Uzi into Cletus. Despite putting 100 9mm rounds into his upper body, that only takes him down to about half health. I try to go for the classic mannequin torso attack again, and for my efforts I am sent back to my last save point. This final time I forego any melee weapons and take an extra pistol. The fight begins as usual. Get shot a few times before I'm able to position myself behind cover and then shoot him. So, I shoot him with both the Uzi and my pistol, and while that takes out the majority of his health, I've still got to finish him off. I down a bottle of wine for some courage, and make a break for behind the counter. The only way I can defeat this guy is if I grab a shotgun from behind the counter and give him a taste of his own medicine. I make it back there, and Cletus makes a fatal mistake. He shoots me once and takes a gulp of wine, giving me a window of time just enough to grab a shotgun. He can throw me out from behind the counter as much as he wants, but it's too late. I hit him twice with the shotgun and have finally defeated Cletus. He only takes 2 shotgun shells and starts to run away. What a baby. Cletus is swiftly punished for his cowardice by the fresh zombie of the man that he killed, and I do a cool pose as I watch the life fade from his eyes. With the fight over, my PP bar grows even longer as I reach the next level and gain another inventory slot. I use my newly expanded inventory to fill my pockets with the shotguns and sniper rifles that the fat redneck was so desperate to protect. I leave the gun shop, trying to conserve my ammo, and in doing so have my kidney stabbed by a zombie and a different type of PP bar bitten off by another. Bleeding kidney and new status as a eunuch aside, I make my way to the park and use my new firearms against the convicts. Halfway there though, I change my mind and decide to save before I take them on. I'll be damned if I have to go through the Cletus fight again. Bows voided, I head back to the park to fight the convicts. Now with a sniper rifle, the convicts should be much easier to deal with. Thankfully, the AI in this game can hardly drive as it will constantly get stuck on objects within the area, so I climb on top of a picnic area's shade and begin to take shots at them. The gunner goes down with ease, but the driver and passenger are protected by the Humvee's bulletproof windows, so I try to head down there and kill them with a katana that I had swiped from Paradise Plaza. This goes horribly wrong as I only manage to kill the driver. The passenger takes control of the vehicle, and too many zombies surround us for me to get a hit on him. I try to make it back to the shade and get on top of it to regroup, but I can't manage to get back on top. I get stuck within a horde and die to an errant swipe from a zombie. Okay, take 2. I respawn in the bathroom, get back to the picnic area, jump on top of it, and start sniping. Once again, the convicts get stuck on a pole, so I begin with sniping the gunner and manage to aim at just the right spot to kill the passenger. I then proceed to head over to the driver and kill him, finally ending the convicts' reign of terror for a few hours. I say a few hours because for some reason they respawn every night at midnight and I'm only going to kill them this one time. I just don't have the time or patience to deal with them every single night. I try to pick up the 50 cal machine gun that they had mounted on the back, but the horde makes it impossible to grab onto. In this, I lose both the katana I was using and the 50 cal, and instead of trying to grab another, I head on to confront the next boss in Wonderland Plaza. Wonderland Plaza's most distinguishing feature is the roller coaster that goes around the area. The ride is going out of control and needs to be shut down for some reason. Why? I don't know. It seems to keep the zombies away for some reason, and I'd say just let it go if it does. It doesn't do me any good by keeping zombies away though, because I'm followed into the control room by more sprinters. Before I can stop the roller coaster, I am stopped by a clown holding 2 chainsaws who tells me to leave the ride alone. He proceeds to do a funny dance with his chainsaws and then make a soy jack face at me. I'll be damned if I let a clown tell me what to do. With that, the fight against Adam the Clown begins. Despite holding a pair of the best weapons in the game, he's not that hard of a boss to fight. I start the battle by taking a really funny picture of him and leveling up for it. All of my weapons are firearms, and for some reason he's able to block my shots with his chainsaws. This may prove a little bit of a problem now, but all I have to do is wait for an attack where he blows up a balloon. Just shoot the balloon while he's blowing it up, and it will stun him. Just attack him while he's stunned, and after a few tries, he'll be down. Despite a few close calls and complications with the nightmare zombies, I managed to defeat him. Defeating Adam provides me with a key to the controls to the roller coaster, the best weapon in the game, and something that will keep me up for the rest of my life. The small chainsaw does an insane amount of damage, can clear out hordes of zombies with just a few swipes, and if you get all 3 books that buff its durability, you get a weapon that lasts almost up to the end of the game. As nice as these would be, I thought that allowing myself to use them would make the game a little too easy, so I'm not picking these things up, as I am a true and honest, hardcore, dead, rising gamer. Leaving behind 2 of my favorite video game weapons of all time, I stop the ride and discover a man had been stuck on the ride during the whole fight. The passenger of the ride, Greg, thanks me for saving him and tells me that he can show me where to find a shortcut to Paradise Plaza. This leads me to a situation similar to the problem with recruiting Sophie back in the park. This time, I'm not able to recruit Greg until he unlocks a secret passageway into Paradise Plaza. The only way to get him to lead me to the shortcut is to be within a certain distance of him. If I'm within that distance, the zombies will surround us and Greg won't move. These silly fools are lucky that I have to rescue them for PP, or else I'd introduce a little chlorine into the gene pool of Willamette and do the world a favor. After 20 minutes in real time of running around, inching my way closer and closer to getting Greg back to the shortcut, and then stopping briefly to chat with a fellow CDG co-host, I beat Greg's sick games and get him to the shortcut. It's inside the women's restroom, and I've always wondered if that was used to creep on women in there. Sick folks work at this mall, and I shudder to think of what dwells within Otis's hard drive back at his house. I exit the shortcut back into Paradise Plaza. Now that I have finally recruited Greg, he will listen to where I tell him to go, so I set a waypoint ahead of me and drink a gallon of milk on what I thought was a safe awning. In all the time I've played this game over the years, I have never seen zombies get onto the cafe awning. What a cruel and sick world we live in. There are a few close calls when I'm surrounded at low health, but if I were to mention all of them, this video would be way longer than it is already. Anyways, I managed to get Greg to the safe house, and to my relief, he's a good friend of Otis's that will stay next to him for the rest of the game. Hopefully this old friend will keep him busy and prevent him from calling me to talk about candy or the people in danger he sees on the monitors. With that, the events of Night 1 are over. I fought all the psychopaths that spawn on Day 1, and I saved the one survivor that really matters. With the end of Day 1, I mentally prepare myself for Day 2. Night 1 is finally at an end. I may be riddled with shotgun pellets, missing large chunks of my body, and covered in suspicious clown dust, but I meet the oncoming day with a solemn determination to complete this arbitrary mission that I've set for myself. Between now and dawn, I wander around aimlessly, looking for a nice area to practice how I'm going to woo my boo in the security room. I should mention that aforementioned boo is in fact Jesse, not Otis, even though he comes to a very close second. As I was watching my Top G Academy video classes to learn how to further entice Jesse, The zombies notice the grind of a real hood hustler and begin to defy the laws of physics in order to keep a real one down. Ops will find a way to ride on a homie shit for real dog. Otis once again calls me at an inconvenient time in order to let me know that Jesse has been thinking about me. My queen beckons and I answer. Pushing through the ravenous crowds, I finally make it back to the security room and plan on making my move. I did an excellent job hiding the panic attack due to my intense fear of women. Before I can calm myself down and hit it with the Tate special, Jesse notices an altercation on the monitor. Barnaby is being dragged from the bookstore he was holed up in by a familiar face from the food court. Brad readies his pistol to go after him, and I tag along too. Another change of pants is needed, and this gives me the perfect opportunity to duck into a clothing store. While practicing dismembering the female form in the warehouse, Otis informs me that the gate between the entrance and Paradise Plaza is now open. Inside Paradise Plaza, I discover that Otis is in fact correct, and the zombies are still trying to break the laws of reality to come and kill me. A memory of the indescribable look Adam the Clown gave me passes through my mind's eye, and I find myself in the entrance plaza, walking without a care in the world, as if the nightmare zombies or crazy terrorists weren't currently trying to kill me. Brad elbows me in the spine, and we both get into cover. As Brad admonishes me for my carefree soul, Carlito kisses his necklace while spouting some nonsense about John Goodman's character from The Emperor's New Groove. During this, I've noticed that the professor has been tied up in a most kinky manner. One metaphor for how Carlito feels about tied up hopeless old men later, and Brad and I break to teach the Carlito that the B in BDSM stands for consent. Immediately after the cutscene, the zombies swarming the gamey old meal above them ignore their breakfast and immediately come to attack me. While I try to formulate a plan, Carlito does a sick trick shot and shoots me off of the second floor and into a group of zombies waiting below. I break for the bookstore that Professor Barnaby was hiding in and catch my breath. I'm going to need to defeat Carlito as fast as I can in order to give myself as much time as possible during the rest of the day to do all the missions that I need to. I pop a quick step that I had made during the downtime in the morning and run with the force of 2 whole nightmare zombies to fight Carlito. The good old-fashioned plan of hit him with a plastic titty will surely work as well as last time. I get up to the second floor and attempt to dodge Carlito's sniper shot. I dodge the shot as well as a quadriplegic and dodge an oncoming 18-wheeler. After putting my ribcage back into my body, I get up and smack Carlito with the torso. This does a nice bit of damage, but he damn near knocks me out with his sniper rifle. He gives me a parting gift consisting of a pipe bomb and a 50 caliber round for both me and Brad. I'm going to have to change my plan if I'm going to beat this guy. Thankfully, he shot me into a sporting goods store. This gives me time to heal and pull out a sniper rifle of my own to retaliate. Thankfully, Brad distracts Carlito enough to give me an ample amount of time to shoot Carlito, ending the boss fight. Carlito tries to duck out of the fight, but Brad is in pursuit. They both fire at each other, failing to hit anywhere vital, and I embarrass myself while trying to shoot Carlito.
Oh my god, young man, kill yourself!
I had just received a concussion from getting hit on the head with a solid steel muzzle brake, dude. Like, give me a fucking break. We ignore the fact that Carlito very likely broke his legs during the landing and is lying immobile on the floor, and we go save the professor. Brad, with his wounded leg, asks me to take Barnaby back to the security room, and I only do it because I don't have to actually escort the professor like he's a normal survivor. One fade to black later, and everybody's back in the security room. Both Brad and the professor are comatose, which gives me plenty of time alone with Jessie. Unfortunately, she's too concerned with Brad, who's begun to run a fever. Fine, I don't want to confess my dying love you anyway, bitch. I decide to give Brad some medicine so that I can make up for my poor performance in the entrance plaza. After running out of the room with my tail between my legs, I level up and receive a permanent speed boost. This will prove invaluable in both running from zombies and getting to missions just a bit faster. I make a quick save and head over to the grocery store in the North Plaza. My newfound speed immediately proves its usefulness. In the entrance plaza, I can weave through holes and crowds and use the zombie ride ability to climb on top of a zombie's head and walk over the crowd. I feel like a god amongst men with my newfound ability, only to be immediately humiliated when a zombie vomits blood onto me and I begin to gag uncontrollably. I really hope Kent didn't snap a picture of my moment of weakness from the rafters of the mall. The fruits of my labor from escorting that disgusting pervert Greg saves me a great deal of time when I take the Wonderland Plaza shortcut, which puts me a stone's throw away from the North Plaza's glistening, inviting entrance. Inside the North Plaza, I enter the grocery store and heal whatever health I had lost from errant zombie bites. Otis calls me to ask me to pick up hot dogs, and I ignore him. When I'm fully healed, I grab a bottle of Willamette's finest wine and commit a little property destruction. Before I can go into the pharmacy and grab some perks for Brad, I hear the rattle of a shopping cart behind me. Oh well, the last time I had a suspenseful moment where I thought I was in danger, I was surprised by a sexy office lady. Surely this will go as well as last time. Oh God! Instead of a sexy babe, I was jumped by an ugly bastard holding a sexy babe hostage in a cart full of sharp objects. The manager is furious that I had vandalized the butcher department's display and begins to assault me. This begins the boss fight with Steven the manager. Normally this is one of the easiest boss fights in the game, however, due to the nightmare zombies breaking into the store, I'm surrounded before I can get a decent amount of hits off with the torso. Steven takes revenge for years of cheesing him with a small chainsaw and attacks me with my one weakness, shotguns. I have flashbacks to the Cletus fight when I'm stun-locked by multiple shells and left with a single block of health. I thankfully have a decent amount of cover, unlike the fight in the gun store. I manage to get a heal off, and then I'm once again interrupted by Otis, who asks me to also pick him up some potato crisps. I tell him to piss off by having part of my face blown off by some buckshot. Weird ass dude who calls chips crisps. Anyway, I knock Steven down to a single point of health and decide to try to kill him in a funny way. I pick up a bottle of ketchup and throw it at him. However, the ketchup bottle took a vow of pacifism and proceeded to do no damage to Steven. Fine, a bag of flour would be funny, I guess. When the bag of flour proves to be too incompetent to damage Steven, I give up and lob a sniper rifle round directly into his chest. Steven, with his life slowly fading, laments the fact that his store will be left to fend for itself. Whatever, I just need to grab the key and...
Clean up! Ranges of 6!
Damn it, I hate this guy. With Steven fully dead, I'm free to help myself to his war bride. The woman gets up to reveal that she's the sexy Latina baddie from the entrance plaza, so I start to hit her with the moves that Jessie is surely watching from the security room whilst biting her fist and shedding tears of regret for letting this hunk of a gentleman get away. Instead of being charmed, this mommy is furious because she thinks I ruined Christmas and killed Santa or something. I really don't know. As I'm playing this, I have Family Guy funny moments playing on my other monitor. After getting chewed out by the Latin dame, I take Steven's key and raid the pharmacy for opiates that I can sell in the streets when I leave this town and make it as a real OG. I make it back to the safe room with my haul and spare a perk for Brad. Jessie, glad her partner is still alive, lets me take several pictures of her Jessies. Now, I would take these pictures any day of the week to keep them in my private collection, however this time, I need to take a photo of Jessie that's worth over 700 PP in order to show Kent and unlock his boss fight further down the line. I take an exceedingly tantalizing photo of Capcom's superior blonde, that's right Cammy Sims, fuck you, and I save my game. With a new material that will make the secret 6th goal of the challenge exponentially more difficult, I save my game and go to fight another psychopath in order to keep myself from adding another layer of crust onto my underwear. I weave my way through the endless crowds of nightmare zombies and go to the North Plaza to meet my next psycho to battle. Inside the hardware store, I discover that the store has been taken over by raiders from Fallout 3 and filled with their tacky interior design. This is a poor way to use hostages. Personally, I would have just sewn the disembodied faces of my captives onto a basketball and left it at an elementary school, but you do you, Cliff. Anyway, speaking of Cliff, our new best buddy himself enters the scene, asking me for my name and rank. I played dumb in order to avoid bringing up my dishonorable discharge, but he doesn't buy it. Cliff mistakes me for Viet Cong and immediately attacks me. Cliff is one difficult boss. He's fast, hides within the floorboards, hits hard, and has grapples that can take out a great deal of my health, and currently has support from the nightmare zombies. After he hands me my ass, I try to put it back on while behind the checkout area. I pick up a boomerang in order to try to channel the spirit of my hero Sokka. Cliff, however, is a Fire Nation sympathizer. He stabs me in the back for my defiance of Fire Lord Ozai and sends me back to the last save. Back in the security room, I shed a single tear, as I just know this is going to be another Cletus fight. I start my journey back to Cliff's foxhole, but before I do, I remember that I had saved before taking those indecent photos of Jessie. I once again get a look at those luxurious triple Ds and head onwards into the next battle, thoughts of holding 2 handfuls of Jessie pushing me onwards. Back in the North Plaza, I decide to stock up on shotguns. Cliff is incredibly elusive. If you manage to get a few hits off on him, he'll fall back on his instincts that he had gained from the cat houses of Saigon and insert himself within the nearest open hole.
You are gonna be begging for death to come take you away.
If I can synergize my attacks with the torso with Shotgun Blast, I should be able to take him out relatively quickly. Alright, Cliff take 2. The fight starts with Cliff cutting my spine in half and somehow only managing to damage a single block of health, not even fully removing it. I retaliate with a Shotgun Blast as he runs into one of his hidey holes. Here's where the fun part of the fight begins. Cliff can spawn from any single one of the holes throughout the store, generally the one farthest away from you. When he exits, he can either jump on top of the store's shelves or decide to jump back into the safe crawl space. When I said this fight was fun, I meant the same type of fun that you experience while stuck behind a boomer in traffic while you desperately have to piss. Just like real life, the only way to resolve this situation is with a Remington 870. Throughout the rest of the fight, Cliff will jump up to the top of a shelf, throw a flare to distract me or a pipe bomb to destroy me, and receive a 12 gauge round for his troubles. The fight is time consuming, but I wipe out the last little bit he has left and end the fight right as the next main scoop becomes active. As he lies on the ground, bleeding out, he shows me a photo of his granddaughter. He tells me that he watched her die to a horde of zombies and that it sent his mind spiraling back into the jungles of Vietnam. I respectfully put this warrior to rest, taking the $46.97 from his wallet after I close his eyes. With Cliff defeated, I now have access to his machete. Powerful enough to cleave every zombie now surrounding me with ease, but fragile enough to where I would lose it before I reach the security room. I go to the locked storefront next door in order to rescue Cliff's hostages. I convince them that I am of otherworldly origins by using the classic Frank West stationary spin and frighten them enough to bring them under my control. I open a door and let them back into the world for a quick jaunt to the security room. I clear out a path for them and talk to Otis about lunch. One of the trio, Barbara, has escaped and is waiting at the waypoint I had set at the exit. The other two, however, are nowhere to be seen. God damn it, I knew this wasn't going to be easy. I find the other two attempting to recreate the human centipede with the pile of dead zombies I had left in front of the store. I guess they got too scared of the zombies that are totally ignoring them and decided that the best way to stay alive was to disgust the zombies, succeeding only in crossing me. I clear out even more zombies, sweating while I look at the dwindling time I have left to get back to the security room. This act of violence emboldens Josh to meet the former alpha of their group at the exit. The final part of the trio, Rich, is still running into a wall, scared for his life. I hand him the shotgun that I had just murdered Cliff with, letting him know that he is so below me, I can hand him my one weakness and he could still not defeat me. With that, he finally speeds to the exit. I am actively worried about my time now. I had spent way too much time trying to corral these subhumans. I guide the group through the park, but it's when I'm halfway through Paradise Plaza I realize that I have no time to wait for these mouth breathers to follow me to the safe room. I leave them in Paradise Plaza and enter the warehouse. It's no problem. All I have to do is reach the security room, watch the cutscene, and then go get the damn it. Okay, fine, I can do this again, whatever. But if I see those two morons doing their little extra chromosome crawl, I'm giving them a shotgun enema. I take a picture of Jesse's goods one more time before saving so that I don't have to do this in case I lose the next fight. Same thing again. Gun store run, defeat Cliff, get $46.97 from his pockets, done. This time, the fight with Cliff takes much longer than I had anticipated, leaving me with scant time to save the survivors and get to the security room. I leave these bumbling fools to manage to kill themselves in an empty room, but I desperately need the PP if I'm going to make it to level 50 by the end of the run. I decide that if I can't save them, I can at least get the PP from recruiting them. So I go in, recruit the trio, and immediately make a break for the security room. The sprint back to the security room was intense, between the survivors quickly draining health bars, the even faster draining main quest timer, and the nightmare zombies coming from my perfectly sculpted ass, I'm put under immense stress. What makes it more difficult is trying to pick up Otis's phone calls. I'm waiting for him to let me know about one specific survivor and a psychopath call. With my phone to my ear and ignoring the infant-like cries of Cliff's hostages, I make it back to the security room with minimal time to spare. I breathe a massive sigh of relief and listen to Jesse coddle Brad. What a pussy this guy is. I've been shot with a shotgun multiple times, impaled, and had my genitals made into a chew toy, and I don't need a perk and Miss Mommy Milker's doting over me, even though I really would have liked her to. While I silently see that the injustice of it all, Jesse notices blood on my sleeve. I play off the fact that it's most likely mine and tell her it's from the girl I had saved from Steven the manager. I try to explain where she had gone, but Jessie immediately kills my ego with this line.
Can't really blame her for running from a guy with your looks. Can't really blame her for running from a guy with your looks.
I mention her whole Santa Claus outburst, and Jessie seems to know what happened. Before she can tell me anything about how Christmas was ruined, we hear Dr. Barnaby begin to scream from the other room. He knows something about what happened to Santa. Jessie begins to ask him what had happened with the Christmas caper as I begin to fall into my old ways and start taking more creep shots of this old man. Jessie has had enough of the epic photojournalist moves and locks the door behind her and Barnaby. Damn it. If my plans had gone right this morning, I'd be the one locked in a dusty closet with that babe. I decided to give up on the hunt for now and begin to hunt the Latina baddie on the security cameras. At least I have Otis do it. I've got a bunch of stuff I gotta take care of today, dude. I leave the security room, heading into the entrance plaza so that I can give the pair of survivors time to spawn in Paradise Plaza and to hear the cries of the Cliff Trio as they slowly die off in the distance. Back in Paradise Plaza, I come across a new survivor, Pamela. She's trapped in the weird little water fixture thing next to the toy store as a ton of zombies completely ignore her and try to kill me. In a normal playthrough, the zombies would immediately tear her apart, forcing the player to act fast or lose a survivor. I wipe out the immediate crowd around her and jump away, heading to the secret orange juice spawn to recover from my single block of health. I drink the OJ and begin to start firing into the zombies below so that I can recruit Pamela easier. As I'm shooting the zombies, everybody's favorite professional scout impersonator, Kent, arrives on the scene, hungry to see what new masturbatory material I've acquired for him. I tell him to hold on for 1 minute as I run to the cafe and make myself a nectar juice. Drinking this will immediately spawn in a queen, and I'm going to use this queen to kill any zombies that surround us while I wait for Kent to finish his dialogue. This proves an exercise in futility as I realize that I can just kite the zombies around Kent and let him say what he has to say that way. I show a Kent of my tsundere future girlfriend and her massive mammaries, and he is so enamored by her honka-donka-badonkas that he immediately creams his pants and begins to leave. Before he can get the hell out of my sight, he comes up with one more challenge, telling me to meet him at noon tomorrow and leaves to clean up the massive wet spot in his shorts. With Kent out of my hair for the day, I go back to Pamela, who was once again surrounded by zombies. I hop on top of a nearby planter, waiting for enough zombies to get near so that I can kill them all with one dead queen. I take a picture of the zombies for some quick PP, only to notice that I get a massive amount of PP for taking a photo of the nightmare zombies sprinting towards me. Damn, I think this might come in handy later. I spend some time joking my PP to pictures of zombies next to this frightened young woman, reaching level 15 and further traumatizing her. Alright, fun's fun, but back to business. I throw down the queen and kill every zombie around, eradicating any stragglers before getting Pamela. I laugh at the funny number on her back, that only true gamers know where the origin of the funny number is from. The narwhal bacon's at midnight, right guys? Anyway, I recruit Pamela and then notice her twin sister Heather in the toy store. Heather, crying at the thought of her plan to murder her sister failing, joins our party. I leave them next to the warehouse exit and continue on to grab the next survivor in Paradise Plaza. The next survivor is Ronald, over in the Jill Sandwiches restaurant all the way on the other side of Paradise Plaza. In order to recruit this Taftian beast, you must bring him any piece of food to appease him. A bag of chips spawns directly in the planter next to the fountain, but I'm unable to grab it before 30 zombies run directly in between me and the half-empty bag of Lay's on the floor. I just give him a bag of chips from a trash can, but I'm attacked before I can break it open, and decide to just give him the orange juice that I have in my inventory. I don't have time for this. I hand this rotund monster my only healing item and take a photo of his almost sexual ecstasy from consuming calories. Ronald is a survivor that will give you another quest after rescuing him, so saving this obese waste of space will be vital to reaching level 50. I dismantle Ronald's barricade, letting in all of the surrounding zombies. I bribe those zombies to leave the store by promising them a bite of bee if we leave the store and they buy my trick. I lead them away to give Ronald enough time to run to the waypoint, only to come back and find that he's stuck running into a wall. The next video I do on Dead Rising will be a compilation of every survivor being eaten alive by zombies. I set a waypoint for the front of the restaurant. Both Ronald and the girls go to the waypoint. This wastes a little bit of time, as it would have been easier for just to have the girls to wait by the warehouse as Ronald heads over, but life can never be easy for a real OG hood gangster like myself. I once again set the waypoint for the warehouse, let them run over, and head into the warehouse, taking them back to the safe room without further incident. I hate these people so much. For my troubles, I level up twice, unlocking another block of health and a judo throw I will never use. I go back to Paradise Plaza, dropping a shotgun to pick up another from the gun store before...
The end of the world is upon us.
Damn it, I thought we would have had enough time before they showed up. From now on until the following morning, the mall will be infested by a cult known as the True Eye. They've got a goblin-looking woman held hostage, and they are about to sacrifice her. I'll be damned if I let Free PP escape my grasp. I interrupt the cult meeting, frightening the leader of the cult. Now, fighting these guys is a very delicate process. It'd be easy to just jump them in, wipe them out with the torso or the machete, but the cultists hold the unrelenting power of pocket sand, which will knock me out and cause me to lose time if I'm captured and taken to their secret warehouse. If you damage them enough, they'll try to introduce you to their god by grappling you while holding a lit stick of dynamite. The best way to tackle these guys is to pick them off from a distance with a firearm. Unfortunately, I tossed the only one I had and will have a hard time finding any with the zombies and cultists surrounding me. Truly a rock and a hard place. After fighting the cult and the Nightburn zombies with minimal results, I just say screw it and let the survivor out of her box. She gets out, and while thanking me, she is enveloped by an explosion I had left just for her, leaving her at half health. Thankfully, cultists move at an incredibly slow pace, giving me more than enough time to escape them, leave a waypoint for Jennifer, and get her into the warehouse and into the safe room. God, I'm so tired of these Paradise Plaza survivors. Anyway, after rescuing her, I level up, increasing my attack power. I decide to take a quick peek at the security cameras and discover my new crush entering the grocery store riding a motorcycle. Ooh. I make a solemn vow that she will be mine. The new main quest pops up, and I now have a decent amount of time to go fight the next psychopath before going to confront my new quarry. Girl hunting is an apt name, because that's what I do on Friday nights, hiding in an alleyway, wielding a 2x4 with nails sticking out of it, and dressed up as a clown. Speaking of girls, it's time for me to take on the next psychopath. I grab some weapons from the warehouse and head into the entrance plaza, where I put on a mask that shows the world my true form. Then I decide that's too silly and head into the kids' clothing store in Paradise Plaza in order to put on something more serious. 2 blocks of health be damned, I will go into this next battle wearing something classy. I grab the secret Uzi and take the pervert shortcut into Wonderland Plaza. Inside, I eat a mushy apple someone had thrown from the roller coaster and pass a couple in peril as I head in to fight the next psychopath. Inside the store is Joe, a morbidly obese cop who takes pleasure in tormenting women who are more attractive than her. She sees me and begins to threaten one of her hostages with a nightstick for leading a man into her store. I will act as a true gentleman to save these damsels in distress. I start the fight by unloading my Uzi into this massive beast. Joe sprints up to me and tases me, but in an incredible turn of events, the nightmare zombies storm the store and surround the quivering mess I'm making of myself on the floor to protect me from police brutality. For once, the zombies are a pain for the boss almost as much as they are for me. The horde blocks another attack from me, and a brave zombie takes a skull-crushing blow, giving me a window to hit this cruel beast with a torso attack. Then a number zombie follows up with an epic bitch slap. After taking a pistol whipping, I lead everybody on a Scooby-Doo-esque chase through the store as I talk to Otis about some antiques he had been interested in and regroup to try to heal, taking a bullet instead. I continue with the cartoon antics while talking to Otis about the cosmetic store I frequent. I find another opportunity to hit the cop, getting too greedy after getting 3 good hits in and getting tased for my efforts. As I lie on the floor, recovering from the taser, she begins to torment the nearest captive, Janet. I'm instantly rejuvenated by the taste of a woman's fear and whatever the puddle forming under her is, and get up and bravely make an escape from the situation. Another zombie saves me, taking a bullet meant for my fine ass and saving my life. I won't let his sacrifice be in vain. I hop up on a store display and begin unloading my Uzi into the cop once again. I use the tactics I had gleaned from Cletus, stun-locking her and not giving her a chance to use her weapon. Finally, this big bitch goes down. She falls before me, prostrates, and begins to... I'll just let you watch. I let her do her thing as I do yet another cool pose, doing my best Akuma impression. With the Psycho dead, I can save all of the baddies she had captured. Thankfully, despite what they say, I was able to get all of her captives before she killed any of them. My health is down to 2 blocks. The zombies have thrown her truce out and they're back to attacking me. I try to untie as many as the captives as I can. Saving these women will give my PP enough vigor to shoot up to full mast and get me to level 20, completely healing me. I recruit everyone, including Willamette's local titty monster. I leave the store with my harem and set a waypoint at the shortcut. The trauma from their abuse from a trusted member of the community has affected their pathfinding, leaving them stuck on a staircase. This is the rare occasion where Survivor AI acting moronically doesn't bother me, as this will make it somewhat less annoying for me to save the hanging couple. How on earth they got up here I will never know. Anyways, I convinced Nick and Sally to stop hanging out by shooting them in the ribs with my Uzi. Alright, that is everybody in Wonderland Plaza at the moment recruited. Nice, alright, time to get them back to the security room, get even more PP, and hit Janet up for her phone number, because I am going to want a taste of whatever I got in my mouth during the fight.
Sweetness.
I set a waypoint by the shortcut and we're all ready to go before I noticed Kelly still stuck in the store. She was scared stiff by a potted plant and wouldn't move another step. After proving myself stronger than the fern, she moves to the waypoint and gets stuck on the stairs again. It's never easy escorting these fools, especially when the zombies are flying in to try and eat you. I wander around Wonderland Plaza trying to figure out a way to get her off the staircase without moving the waypoint, but thankfully she manages to figure it out on her own and spares herself a jump kick down the stairs. Thought it was over? Yeah, I did too as I was writing this, but no. Dead Rising's infamous Survivor AI still needs to torment me. I need to get them fully into the bathroom so I can get all of them through the shortcut, and I'll be damned if I'm going to go through the park and risk the convicts managing to kill one somehow. When Kelly and I regroup with the rest of the special ed squad, I try to set a waypoint in the bathroom that most of them just straight up ignore. Hell, this dumb bitch follows me as I lead the zombies away and start trying to fight them. I'm about 2 steps away from ending it all. As I deal with this, I get a call from Otis, telling me that Ronald's blood sugar is down and he needs food. One problem at a time. If he gets hungry enough, he can eat Sophie. Alright, the only way I can do this is by bringing the survivors into the bathroom slowly but surely. I save my game just in case and use the shortcut. If I can get one survivor through the shortcut with me, they'll spawn at the other end of the shortcut in the exact spot I need them in, and will remain there as long as I set a waypoint and don't leave the bathroom. I believe that the zombies will spawn just far enough to allow me to get one survivor in at a time. This thankfully works. Kelly is the first to follow as she is in awe of my ability to defeat potted plants. I take her to Paradise Plaza and then immediately head back into Wonderland Plaza with her, where Janet and Nick realize that I'm not taking them into the bathroom for anything too nefarious and follow me. I head to Paradise and then back into Wonderland. The 3 remaining survivors get stuck on each other in the bathroom's entrance, and I don't want to risk hurting either them or losing my 1 block of health by clearing out zombies. So multiple times they get stuck, and multiple times I have to go through the shortcut until I manage to scream at my screen loud enough in real life for the last 3 survivors to make it through that doorway. Okay, finally, all of them make it through the shortcut, and the urge to castrate myself out of pure fury fades away. Now I'm going double or nothing. I have to make it to the cafe on the 2nd floor of Paradise Plaza in order to heal. If I lose, I'm going to rage quit and just quit the challenge. No, I'm just kidding. Through some masterful uses of the zombie riot skill and desperate jump kicks, I get through the crowd of zombies that had immediately formed in the bathroom. I get upstairs, dodging a big ass group of zombies at the top, and weave past a gaggle of cultists. Home stretch here. I get to the fridge and grab some OJ as a zombie reaches me and debates killing me. While he does that, I get a heal off on the semi-safe katana awning. For the titty monster, I tell myself, catching my breath. For the titty monster. I set a waypoint at the warehouse and dodge zombies while the survivors try their best to get to safety. Nick gets possessed by the ghost of Rich and or Josh, while What's-Her-Face goes on to fight another horde. Whatever, we all get out of Paradise Plaza at least. As a parting gift, Lily, Nick, and Kelly decide to get stuck in the warehouse when we reach the rooftop. I get them to the rooftop, get them through the vent, and then push 2 of the dumb hoes out of each other's faces, and then finally get the most annoying survivor escort in this run finished. Only to forget Ronald's food and not only lose an opportunity for PP, but lose a bunch of survivors from the safe room who go to find food for him and dine them all. Thankfully, I don't have to go through the hard part again, as I had saved after getting everyone into Paradise Plaza. Thank God for my paranoia. I grab a pie for that scumbag Ronald before I get everybody into the safe room. Inside, Ronald is freaking out over his lack of food, but I calmly hand him a pie that I had wiped with my own ass off screen. Ronald, filled with near orgasmic joy over the pie, jumps for joy. Little does he know that very soon, that dingleberry pie will come back to torment him. Alright, most difficult part of the night's over. I take a well-needed catnap to save my game and head back into the mall. I prepare myself for the upcoming fight with Isabella by grabbing some OJ from the Paradise Plaza cafe and head on over to where I had last spotted her in the North Plaza. Not much of interest goes on during my jog to the North Plaza. Originally, I wrote out a very long rant as to why I believe we should resurrect Frida Kahlo, hook her body up to a machine that will keep her alive for eons whilst dilating her perception of time, making a moment of our time feel like an eternity, and then use cutting-edge military-grade VR to torment her until the sun goes out. I cut this from the script because number 1, the video is already exceedingly long, and number 2, she's already in hell. Doing anything that I suggested would be to spit in the face of God. Anyways, I make it into the North Plaza and encounter this sweet mamacita coming out from the grocery store. She unfortunately mistakes me for some sort of unholy man-horse hybrid and hops onto a motorcycle in order to eliminate me from this world. How much longer must I be discriminated against for speaking my truth? The fight with Isabella now begins. She's a moving target on a motorcycle who can knock me over if I'm in melee range if she so much as lightly moves forward on her bike. What do you think is going to be the most effective method of defeating her? That's right, mannequin torso. I don't know why I keep doing this for the psycho fights. Maybe my years of reliance on the small chainsaws are finally catching up to me. Anyways, Isabella has always been a bit of a pain for a based melee cell like myself. Finding a window of opportunity to actually get into range and hit her is very rare, especially with the nightmare zombies holding me back and ruining every chance I get to slap this hoe up. If I get close enough, I can get a hit or two off, but at the cost of several blocks of health when she decides to run me over. Isabella doesn't run into walls and get stuck nearly as often as the convicts do, so this is one pain in the ass of a fight. She runs circles around me on her motorcycle as Joe looks up from her place in the afterlife and laughs at the irony of the situation. I get a hit or two on her, but after wasting too much time, I wise up and grab a cop's gun from his holster. He wasn't using it. I reach a safe area on the scaffolding above her, take aim, and proceed to jump down and try to hit her with the torso again. I just can't help myself. For my foolishness, I'm booted back to my last save. Fine, I'll guess I'll use my frickin' lame-ass Second Amendment rights to try to win this fight. I hit up the gun shop and load up on firearms in order to defeat this motorcycle menace. I give her the old Cletus special right as the fight starts and take off a nice chunk of her health, then jump up to the scaffolding again, only to find her fleeing the scene and out of my sight. I assume the devs made her do this in order to keep players from easily defeating her with the old Obi-Wan special. I jump down to fight her on her own terms and easily defeat her. She falls off of her bike and is incapacitated. I run to get more information from her social security number, when she's alone and most vulnerable, normal first date stuff. She mistakes my actions for something most ungentlemanly and kicks me directly right in my PP storage. I get on top of her, hold her down, and scream directly in her face that I wasn't going to hurt her, immediately calming her down. Yet another time, the old scream in her face trick works wonders on the ladies. She starts asking me questions, but I hit her with a horse pun in order to further woo the sexy Latina girl boss. I ask her about Barnaby's Christmas caper, and she mentions that the zombies were a Christmas wish from America. Anyways, she mentions that I can get more information on the origins of the outbreak from her brother Carlito. She tells me she'll set me up with her meeting so he can vet me and make sure I'm good for his hermana. She goes to set up the meeting, and I think about how I'm totally going to get that puss in the immediate future. With Isabella defeated, I now have access to her motorcycle. It spawns right in front of the grocery store, and I can take it from there all the way to the food court. Unfortunately, I can't bring it through loading screens where I have to get off of it, so I'm limited to where I can take this windfall of transportation. In the entrance plaza, somebody's pinned down by sniper fire. I have PTSD flashbacks to how badly I botched defeating the last entrance plaza sniper, so I head over there to try to redeem myself. On my way to the psycho fight, I make myself some quick step in the food court to make the fight easier and help me to get to my date with Isabella on time after defeating the snipers. Within the entrance plaza, I am once again overcome by my lackadaisical nature as I'm in the sights of a family of hunters. Unfortunately, these hunters are absolutely blind and mistake me for a deer rather than my true horse form. The patriarch and oldest brother egg the 20-year-old who still calls his dad daddy to shoot me. I cringe from hearing that and pounce into action. If the Sniper Carlito fight was the promising older brother that finished college and got its master's, then the fight with the Hall family would be the brother born with severe autism who rams his head into walls and can only be calmed with a specific scene from Space Chimps that runs from 42 minutes and 33 seconds to 46 minutes and 12 seconds. I run up to the snipers and, for the purposes of family bonding, take a .308 round directly into my left lung as the father and older brother high-five each other, giving me a nice PP boost when I take a photo of it. This fight is more of a fight against the zombies and time. I've hardly got any time to fight these guys, save the 4 survivors in the area, and then return to Isabella in the North Plaza. I defeat them by shattering Papa Hall's spine with a torso, restraining myself from making a masturbation joke whilst killing Jack, and putting sad little Thomas out of his misery. Alright, my meeting with Isabella is in about an hour or so I have to save the 4 numbskulls that have spontaneously appeared in the plaza and then get the hell back to the North Plaza. I first grab the original target of the newly extinct Hall clan, Wayne. I convince him to leave his disgusting little corner by showing him the broken body of Jack. I leave Wayne and head downstairs and into a nearby clothing store so that I can pick up the next survivor, Jolie, and then I immediately turn around and leave her to die. I mean, look at the amount of zombies blocking the entrance. There's no way in hell I'm going to be able to get this chick and her totally platonic friend upstairs out in time. I leave Jolie to die of a grief-induced heart attack while I think about getting a heart attack from eating some burger steaks from Jollibee's. They're not sponsoring us or anything, I'm just hungry as I write this, and Jolie's name kind of reminded me of that place. Leaving Wayne by the exit, I head upstairs to grab Floyd from the antique store. Floyd is an ancient old man who wishes to die peacefully in the corner of what is essentially a permanent yard sale within a mall. Unfortunately for him, I require the PP he will give me now and the PP he will give me from a quest later on in the playthrough. It's a mad dash through a zombie-infested mall and death by torture in a government black site for him. After wasting minutes of my precious time, he lets me pick him up and give him a piggyback ride back to the safe house. Yeah, saving these scumbags has put me in one hell of a bad position. I've got seconds to get to the meeting place with Isabella, so I pop a quick step and make a mad sprint to the North Plaza and end up being late while I'm only 15 feet away from the meeting spot. I tell you, going into my backyard and eating handfuls of dirt and rocks until I die sounds much more appealing than going through all this again. Alright, back to the save before the Isabella fight. Quick scoper, boss kick, snipers defeated, done. This time I don't even bother trying to save anyone but Floyd. Although he takes forever to talk to and recruit, I can carry him. Carrying him means that I won't get grabbed by zombies, and I don't have to fight the survivor AI as he has been assimilated into my body. With Floyd saved, I head over to the North Plaza for the meeting. In front of the store, I encounter another survivor, Kendall. He's a survivor with another quest down the line associated with him, so he's coming along with me. I get up to him to try to recruit him, and he talks to me as casually as a chat with a postman on a Sunday morning as he hits me with a stray shotgun pellet. Okay, Kendall, let me just back up really quick to... If I can just drink this milk, we can all... Alright, you piece of shit, I tried playing nice. Day 2 has proven to be a massive pain in the ass. I reload my save and redo everything in the last paragraph, including killing Kendall. There is no room for traitors in my security room. I await Isabella in our meeting place, too annoyed to make any sort of jokes about us doing the deed. She suddenly bursts into the room, bringing in new competition for her heart. I know I didn't make a joke about making advances on her, but that does not mean I'm not interested. I kill the interloper and discover that Isabella is persona non grata with her brother after a minor domestic dispute. I haul her onto my back and carry her back to the safe room. During our leisurely stroll, Carlito gets on the mall's PA system and cries about how he didn't mean to shoot her, and that's just how he greets everybody. Just like with Floyd, unless a zombie swipes at me, I'm mostly safe within a horde. This will be the easiest survivor escort. I get Isabella back to the security room to show her off as my new girlfriend and totally make that blonde bitch feel jealous. Thankfully, Brad's awake now, so I can leave her on the bed. If he had been asleep, I would have just thrown him on the rooftop and let him sweat out his fever there. Jessie looks on in awe at the type of gyad I can rizz up, while Brad puts her in DHS custody to try to steal my hoe once all of this is over. I'd like to see him try. I've got some time before Isabella wakes up, so I head around the mall making quick steps and grabbing shotguns for the upcoming boss fight later on. When I feel a shiver in my spine and a tickle in my prostate, I know Isabella's awake. I get back to the security room to find Brad interrogating my Isabella. She reveals that her family's Christmas was spoiled one year when Barnaby used the zombie wasps to steal all of the presents from her hometown or something. Peter Griffin gets molested a lot in this show. Barnaby, cringing at having his Grinch phase revealed, tries to reassert himself as the true alpha male and attempts to motorboat Jesse. I kick the Christmas hater in the head, hearing yet another moistening sound coming from Jesse. Aw yeah, back in the game. Barnaby starts seizing on the floor, which gives me an idea for an epic analog horror series. Brad ruins my future YouTube fame by shooting my new star in the face. Damn it, how am I going to amass enough followers to pull the old Adam Rosner special now? I think Isabella agrees to help us or something, I don't know. I'm pissed at the loss of my fame and decide to take my anger out on a local spiritual leader. Before heading into the movie theater to confront the full force of the true eye cult, I grab the hidden Uzi in Paradise Plaza. This will be a surprise tool that will help us later. In case I need a backup weapon, I make a Spitfire juice. That will make me spit with the force of a handgun bullet. Can't believe city boys have to use a fruity Lala juice to come close to what real dippers like me can do in real life. Before reaching the cult leader, I come across a crowd of the cultists lined up in a perfect firing squad line. This is where the Uzi comes in. A pile of bodies later, and I'm in the theater. I enter the theater and... Hey, wait a minute. No, hey, if I can't use my gun material this run, it means you can't either. It looks like the cult has been stealing from my house and worshipping my special edition Silent Hill real doll. I will not show thieves any mercy. The fight with the cult leader, Sean, begins. Sean's fight is a relatively easier version of Cliff's. He moves somewhat fast and hits hard, but unlike Cliff, he doesn't have anywhere to hide from me. I use the rest of what I've got in my Uzi and hit him with a classic shotgun quickscope and end the fight. In Sean's final moments, he beseeches my doll for help, who uses the massive sword I left in her chest to stab him in the eye. What a horrible day. I calm down and realize that there are multiple people that have been tied up here, including one sexy babe locked in the nearby supply closet. Before I can save any of them, the theater is flooded with the remaining cultists. I dispatch all of them with my trusty pocket sledgehammer and begin untying all the victims. Inside of the empty closet is the aforementioned sexy babe, who is immediately smitten by me and joins the party. Now, any time being locked within a small dark closet with a sexy woman in a skimpy dress would be great, but this time is different. For some reason the game glitches out and I'm locked in the closet with Cheryl. Fine, I'll just do it all over again. Not the first time I've had to restart today. Thankfully, Sean's boss fight isn't really hard. Before I grab to the theater to redo anything, I head to the maintenance tunnels underneath the mall to grab a floating video game key. This is another surprise tool that will help us in the next video. Anyways, I kill the sex doll thieves again and save the hostages. It's another average survivor escort after this. Despite the zombies once again breaking the laws of physics, the survivors are saved without further incident. I save the sexy broad and fall to my knees in real life. All the challenges have weighed on my soul. I'm a broken man. I get into the fetal position and begin to cry. I close my eyes and see visions of the coming day, a day in which I'll be shot, blown up, and taught the true meaning of Christmas. I'd go back to the security room and ask my tasty Latinxa girlfriend what's going on, but after the immense amount of willpower I used to get through the prior day, I believe I've earned a nice and calm morning walk in the mall. Nightmare zombies and an overprotective brother-in-law be damned, my PP bar is still smaller than my phone. I need to get my cardiovascular system going if I'm going to impress Isabella on our wedding night. Jesse's invited to the honeymoon as well, so long as she wears the collar. Otis can tag along to film. I slide my slippery little body into Wonderland Plaza, hitting up the bookstore to grab a true crime book for Isabella. I know hoes love reading about violent rapes and murders for whatever reason, and I got my shawty covered. I have a quick breakfast, eating my doctor's one and only weakness, and head on over to the nearby Sephora to get some clown makeup for the honeymoon. On baby, we gonna get that clussy after becoming unified in the eyes of the Lord. Within the makeup store lurks a man wearing overalls and sporting a nasty looking wound on the back of his neck. While I begin to smash the kneecaps of the nightmare zombies flooding the store, I realize that this man is paying no mind to what is going on. This betrays the fact that this man is clearly severely mentally disabled. Alright, this guy is far more dumb than any of the previous survivors. I'll just lead this tard to the safe room and get some tasty pee-pee for my troubles. I unleash the fury of the red cyclone all over the faces of the zombies and catch poor Simple Leroy in the process. To deal with Simple Leroy's kind, one must establish dominance, so I pick up 2 zombies by the grundle and throw them so hard they break their necks, proving to Simple Leroy that his tard strength is nothing compared to my incel rage. I hypnotize him while he's having a minor breakdown with the flash of my camera, and that's enough to get the half-starved hamster in his brain to get moving and follow me. With Simple Leroy in tow, I head out to the grocery store to grab some wine for the celebration party after the helicopter picks me up in the morning. All subscribers are invited, even you. Unfortunately, I came extremely close to death after being jumped by everyone in the store and had to drink a bottle, so BYOB to cover what I had used up. After grabbing what the urban youth call drank, I head over to the gun store to grab more shotguns so that I can execute all of the survivors that have pissed me off from day one all the way up to moments before our chopper ride. Simple Leroy can catch up, he can smell the exhaust fumes from my motorcycle from miles away and track it like a bloodhound. I open up the doors of the gun store and... You know, I've been shot so many times in the last few days I hardly even feel it anymore. Inside the store are some preppers, including Soap McTavish from the Modern Warfare series. I try to convince them that I have an even better base than their closed-off room with fermenting Cletus droppings in the corner, but the fumes have warped their brains hard enough to keep them from following me. Thankfully, they have the presence of mind to ask for some proof and will follow me to the security room once showed said proof. I could have shown them the rooms full of survivors, but none of them have a PP sticker. The only way to convince them is to show them a picture of the vent entrance. I agree to come back with their proof, take Simple Leroy, and head on my way. I normally take a photo of the vent entrance at the start of every run and save it, but for this playthrough I was too preoccupied by the strange feeling that Otis might have been doing things to my unconscious body after he saved me from the entrance plaza. I think that sick fiend might have had me in chains and locked in the Paradise Plaza shortcut had 2 federal agents not shown up. Anyways, before heading on out to the security room, I pop into the hardware store to pick up Cliff's machete. I have an odd feeling I'll need it today. Before we can leave the North Plaza, Simple Leroy has trouble with the concept of a waypoint and stands within a crowd of zombies. I toss a queen jar over at the crowd and the sound of screaming zombies and bursting chests cause sensory overload within Simple Leroy's brain, giving him enough brain power to run back to the waypoint. While crossing through the park, I admire the second set of convicts' driving skills as I head into Paradise Plaza. Inside Paradise Plaza, our old buddy Carlito once again starts raving over the intercom. Simple Leroy once again gets overstimulated and begins to have a panic attack. I don't have time for this. I follow up on the grundle grabbing threats and pick up Simple Leroy. The fun part about using this move on survivors is that you're essentially forcing the game to act as if you were carrying them on your back, giving you grab immunity. If this game would let you keep your normal walking speed, I'd use it during every survivor escort. Anyways, I ignore the soft and warm feeling of a full adult diaper in my hand as I haul this imbecile into the warehouse. I get through the warehouse and snap a quick photo of the vent to convince the preppers to come along with me. Simple Leroy lives to stick things up his urethra another day, and I rest my legs within the security room. Inside the security room, Isabella starts going on about how Carlito's last resort, if he had been cornered, was a last-minute conversion to Islam and everything that brings. I don't see any issue, it's a religion of peace. Oh, alright. Islam. Oh god, if he blows up Willamette, it'll cause Santa to become aware of the true culprit in the Keys family Christmas disaster, putting everyone in America on the naughty list and ruining Christmas 2006. We've got to stop him. Brad, pumped full of adrenaline at the thought of saving Christmas, heads into the maintenance tunnels beneath the mall in order to stop Carlito's plan and keep the Christ in Christmas. I'm going to help too, after saving the preppers. I'd leave them to die if they didn't have soap and a real cutie pie in there. I get back to the North Plaza and hand over the picture of a vent that could totally be any random vent in the mall to the ambassador of the Huntin' Shack, successfully convincing him and the rest of the squad to come with me. I take them from the North Plaza and through the park and enter Paradise Plaza, running into Kent. Yeah, you can't take pictures of sexy babes like me, I get it. What are you gonna show me? Oh god, why is your pee-pee bar on that man's face? It appears that the fact that sexy chicks will let me take photos of their breasts has blackpilled this ugly freak, and he has turned into a femboy connoisseur as a result. Whatever, man, just keep it away from me. Why do you have a gun pointed at me? After a quick fade to black, I find myself chained up in the fountain, feeling incredibly naked without my horse head and clothing. Kent, foaming at the mouth, takes pictures of the sexy barman for his sick games. He's gonna pay for violating me. The fight starts and the group of heavily armed preppers take the opportunity to shoot an annoying freak to death, long after he stole my clothes and chained me up. I know Alyssa was looking at me though. Call me after the boss fight, babe. Thankfully, I have these guys to damage Kent for me. When he ripped my head off, he also stole all of my weapons. Majority of the fight is just dodging zombies while the preppers do most of the damage to Kent. After a moment of realism where a group of armed lunatics successfully shoot a strange little chud to near death, game logic reasserts itself and demands I hit Kent with the final blow. Easier said than done. Even though I started the fight at full health and went for the final blow with a bowling ball, I still can't hit Kent. He's just too damn fast for me without the spirits of the horses guiding me. I get my health whittled down by Kent's jump kicks, while the preppers, still high off of that nasty Cletus jankum, hit me with friendly fire. I hit Kent over the head with a potted plant, somehow doing no damage to him, and get kicked through a bench, shattering my spine and killing me. God damn it, I hate Kent so much. Back to my last save, I once again recruit the preppers, eating an entire block of cheese for courage and to use my lactose intolerance as a possible last resort against Kent. I prepare myself for the fight by grabbing shotguns for some reason. I don't remember why I did this. I was going to lose them after Kent jumps me and wouldn't make it to stop him before he dick slapped a survivor to death. The fight starts significantly worse the second time. It appears that the preppers are even more high on Cletus' supply and aim far worse as a result. On top of that, I lose health to the zombies, Kent's karate moves, and more friendly fire. I would give up and claim defeat, but Kent made a fatal mistake this time. He forgot to take my horse head off. Clothes, no clothes, it doesn't matter. I'm 100% myself and he cannot do anything to stop me. I get knocked down to 1 block of health. There's no time to heal and it's looking incredibly grim. Suddenly, I see the crowd of zombies sprinting towards me from the park. Remember how on day 2, I was able to get a massive PP boost by taking a photo of the nightmare zombies? This saves me when I snap a photo of the crowd. The upskirt from the zombie on the right pushes enough blood to my PP to level me up, fully healing me. When I turn back to the fight, ready to defeat this black-pilled porn addict, I notice that the preppers did their job and he's 1 tap away from death. I then lose almost all of my health and almost die. This time I give up on trying to cave his skull in as promised on day 1 and lightly tap Kent in the nuts with my big toe, doing enough damage to put him down. Kent lies dying at the floor and asks me to take a photo of his dying moments. And I don't really feel like it. Kent fades from this world while looking at my pecs. While I escort the preppers to the security room, I ask them not to mention any of what they had seen to anyone inside. Thankfully, they're all still too high to really comprehend what had happened. I take advantage of this by giving Soap a lead pipe, convincing him that it was a $20 weapon skin with pink laser tracer rounds and stealing his rifle from him. Not only is this assault rifle the first one you can get until later on in the day, it'll be a big help when I fight another psycho down the line. I head into Paradise Plaza to stop Carlito's bomb plot, but notice a woman wearing a problematic armband in a CD store. As the ravenous crowd of zombies screams at us from behind a thin pane of glass, I realize that it's in fact not the windmill of friendship, but instead she has the Japanese flag on her arm instead. Second best Axis power, but beating Italy in that contest is like winning the Special Olympics. I convince this weeb that Isabella is also a big fan of anime. She's interested in watching anime with a fellow otaku, but when she asks me what anime Isabella watches, I give up and just lift her over my head and take her to the security room. I don't know why, but I have a soft spot for majority of the Day 3 survivors. Maybe it's because the time isn't as tight to save them as the previous days, maybe it's because Simone here reminds me of my ex-girlfriend, I don't know. Anyways, rescuing Simone gives me another level up. I celebrate my new health block of health by doing the Frank West spin in front of Otis and take a quick nap before taking care of Carlito's bombs. This is where the ultimate challenge finally begins. The bombs are beneath the mall in the maintenance tunnels. 5 bombs are scattered throughout the labyrinthine tunnels, and between each bomb is an ocean of zombies. This is already a somewhat difficult task, made into a damn near impossible one because of the fact that these are nightmare zombies. There are a few vehicles in the tunnels that can make travel easy on me, but the amount of zombies just throwing themselves at the car will drain the car's durability with frightening speed. All of that makes things very difficult, yes, but the true cherry on top. The moment during the divorce where you realize your alcoholic wife is taking the kids with her tweaker boyfriend is Carlito in his truck of peace. Carlito patrols the tunnels after you grab 2 of the 5 bombs, mowing down the zombies in his truck and throwing pipe bombs, really committing to the whole Islam bit. Best part is that I could just grab all the bombs and complete the mission, but defeating Carlito here is a mandatory part of the challenge. I spent so much time trying different tactics to finish this fight. I entered the tunnels from Paradise Plaza in order to grab a car that spawns in the area so that it'll be easier to travel. Before I can get any real progress in, Carlito comes to stop me. I get out of my car to try and fight him, but it's incredibly difficult to get a single hit on him with a melee weapon before he either pulls away or gets surrounded by zombies, making him impossible to hit. This attempt kills me, and I start again. Second time, I took a machete and some untouchable juice before heading into the tunnels on a motorcycle from the parking lot. I do somewhat better this time, actually managing to hit Carlito enough times to make him flee, but his pipe bombs destroy my motorcycle, leaving me stranded in the tunnels. He once again springs an attack on me, and despite the crowd of zombies trying to stop me, I manage to defeat him. This is only a Pyrrhic victory, as I am now stranded in the tunnels with no time to get the bombs, and with a single block of health. A zombie bites me and ends this run. Next time I forego any prep to save time and try to use my Uzi and AR to try to kill him. The zombies block every shot like how they did for me in the Joe fight, and I end up as pavement pizza. Time and time again, I head into the tunnels only to be slaughtered. Time and time again, he takes his revenge for when I called him Latinx. Time and time again, the zombies rip me to shreds for being so sexy. If it's not Carlito, it's the zombies. If it's not the zombies, it's Carlito. If it's not Carlito, it's the zombies. If it's not the zombies, it's Carlito. If it's not the Carlito, it's the zombies. If it's not the zombies, it's Carlito. Almost lost my cool there. If I'm going to overcome this, I'm going to need to play it smart and use all the luck I've got saved up. Once again, I enter the tunnels through Paradise Plaza. Instead of grabbing the bomb closest to me, I head over to the most remote bomb location beneath the North Plaza. Getting this out of the way will save me time before Carlito spawns in. After that, I head to the next bomb location underneath the entrance plaza and grab that bomb. With 2 bombs out of the picture, Carlito immediately spawns in and throws one piss missile of a pipe bomb at me. I pick my ass up off of the floor and head upstairs into the entrance plaza. I circle back into Paradise Plaza, quickly make an untouchable drink for when I actually confront Carlito, and head back into the tunnels. Alright, now I head down to the next bomb beneath the Alfresca Plaza. After I grab the bomb, Carlito's sixth sense kicks in, and he immediately comes to throw more bombs at me. As I drive over to the next truck, I ponder the origin of the pipe bombs. How the hell did he get so many? Beneath the grocery store is another bomb truck and a drivable truck. I reach the next area, and not a moment too soon. Right as I get to the next bomb, my car finally dies on me. I thank it for its service, and grab the 4th bomb out of 5 from the truck. Carlito is absolutely calling me the dreaded C word at this point, cracker. But I ignore his racial slurs, and calmly smash him in the head with a sledgehammer, knocking out 1/3 of his health. As he pulls another pipe bomb out of his ass, I hit him one more time, scaring him off as the bomb turns my organs into a smoothie. Last bomb left. It's beneath Wonderland Plaza and conveniently close to the exit. I grab the bomb and chug the untouchable as Carlito pulls up, ready to finish this once and for all. I waste the majority of the untouchable's duration by getting stuck in the middle of crowds and getting juggled by Carlito's bomb combos. I manage to get up to Carlito and give him one good smack with the hammer, scaring him off once again. Alright, I'm gonna need these zombies gone if I'm gonna beat him. Luckily, a queen zombie was spawned nearby. I forcibly take the queen and lead the surrounding zombies into the Wonderland parking lot. Carlito comes back, using the truck of peace to smash part of the horde, and I break the jar, wiping out almost all of the surrounding zombies. It's just him and me now. I once again fracture his skull with my sledgehammer, and he blows me up with yet another bomb. As he runs off, I loudly yell out my vile intentions with his sister, and he immediately turns around. This was his fatal mistake. As he pulls another pipe bomb out of his ass, the fuse gets snagged on his anus, giving me a window of opportunity to jump over and smack him one more time, finally defeating the most difficult boss fight of this run. Carlito runs away from me and crashes into a wall while looking in fear at the free-spirited reverse centaur that had just defeated him. He flips his truck over, and I head over to give him a piece of my mind for his antics, and he escalates the situation by shooting at me. Brad shows up to defend me, telling me to get the bombs out of the tunnels while he goes after Carlito. What the hell was he doing while I was busy getting my shit pushed in by Carlito and the zombies? As Brad runs into the newly forming Silent Hill fog, I take a look at my map. Defeating Carlito will spawn you in the area the cutscene takes place in, rather than where he had actually defeated him. Why? Why must I be punished? I am but a simple incel gamer. I'm running out of time to both get the bombs out and head to a psychopath fight immediately after this. Luckily, I'm right next to Paradise Plaza's parking lot. I grab the freshly respawned car and drive like a bat out of hell. As long as the car doesn't break, I've got a great chance to make it to the exit with time to spare. We're down to seconds as I make it back to the exit of the tunnels. Unfortunately, Carlito blocked off the exit, and I can't get my car out. But I use my Frank West powers of ingenuity to turn a shopping cart into a bomb transport cart. I sprint out of the tunnel, mere moments before they go off. Before we can conclude my dramatic encounter, I have a psychic vision of what's going on with Brad. He's locked again in yet another gunfight with Carlito, gloating over the fact that Christmas has been saved and that Carlito will be on the naughty list this year. Brad is snuck up on by a zombie, only to turn and kill it with one shot. Big Baby didn't turn on nightmare zombies like I did in SMH. This leaves Brad with one bullet left in his gun. He thinks back to the time he clutched a 1v1 in a game of hardcore search and destroy back in MW2 and falls back on those skills. His aim rings true, and he mortally wounds Carlito, seemingly ending this terrorist's plans for good. Brad unfortunately forgets that we're in normal mode, not hardcore. Carlito regenerates enough health to get off a knife attack, defeating Brad. Brad gets thrown into the dark tunnel, turning on a pen light to reveal a wall of zombies in front of him. I don't understand why he's worried. Just use the zombie ride skill and grab some orange juice later. He probably only lost like 1 or 2 blocks of health, come on. Back to the better of the Carlito kill squad, I managed to get the bombs out with mere seconds to run away before they go off. Thankfully, Carlito's many pipe bomb attacks have given me a massive resistance to explosive damage. I am merely tickled despite my proximity to the bombs. Now that we're safe, it's time to go back to the security room and celebrate with my concubines, after I check up on Brad. I take a cool convertible from the parking lot and head back into the tunnels to find Brad. I find his light on the floor, picking it up and walking up to where I hear Brad's voice. He begs me to keep away, but my urge to take photos of somebody, no matter what they say, takes control. I find Brad covered in something red. I get a good look at him and see the giant plate of spaghetti he had spilled on his lap. He begs me not to tell Jesse that he had spilled his spaghetti and asks me to put him down. Chill, Brad, it's just some Italian food. Finish it up so you can get back to full health and we'll get you a new pair of clothes before heading back to the security room. I laugh at Brad's silly antics, glad he's okay, and head off to the next adventure. Time is of the essence here. My next mission is moments away from expiring, and I absolutely cannot miss it as this is another psychopath fight. Not only do I have a minuscule amount of time to get there, but I have less than an in-game hour to finish off the boss, escort the survivors from the fight, and get back to my hoe and side hoe on time. Carlito has really put me in a tough position here, but at Isabella and mine's wedding, we'll laugh it off as a funny story while Carlito eats from the feeding tube inserted to his full body cast and shits into a colostomy bag. As I enter Wonderland Plaza from the tunnels, I begin to hallucinate an old woman on a soccer ball while I enter a women's clothing store and encounter a deranged sub-4 male with a level 2 Norwood threatening 2 fine young honeys with a Molotov cocktail. He's got the right idea, as I also enjoy my meals flame roasted, but unfortunately, time constraints and PP requirements will keep us from enjoying some prime long pork together. Paul, upset that I won't let him cook these Stacy's, begins to attack me. I start the fight by pulling out Soap's M4 and unloading directly into Paul's upper chest. He powers through the sucking chest wound and absconds from the store, summoning the undead to protect him. Paul's boss fight revolves around chasing this little punk while he tosses bombs behind him while he sprints away. Unfortunately for him, he hadn't accounted for a man with an acquired immunity to explosives coming to kick his ass. After laughing at my old woman hallucination, Paul and the zombies hit me with a wombo combo, blocking me from moving while being thrown into the air by his explosives. I retaliate by firing my M4 into him again and following up with my Uzi. Paul gets too big for his britches, tossing a pipe bomb, knocking himself onto the floor, and gets shot for standing up to me. It's then revealed that this fight didn't actually happen at all. What actually happened was that Paul tried to light a Molotov to attack me, tripped on some acetone on the floor, and set his balls on fire, hallucinating the fight to hide from the pain. I take pity on this new eunuch. He might not have lost his manhood in the jaws of a sexy female zombie, but I feel his pain. I show mercy to this poor little disgusting balding subhuman loser by extinguishing the fire on his nuts and offering to teach him the ways of the incel trap star if he comes with me. I head into the closet to recruit the chicks he had been threatening. I briefly mistake one of them for my ex and almost crush her head with my sledgehammer. I play it off as a practical joke and drink a gallon of OJ to ease the tension. Recruiting everyone in the store levels me up and unlocks my true equine potential, giving me the running speed of a wild Mustang. I'm going to need this speed. Otis pulls some real homie shit and lets me know that Jessie is in an emotionally vulnerable position and that I can use her trust in me to manipulate her. I know that the whims of the fairest sex are fickle, so I waste no time getting to the store. Except I do waste a bunch of time. I head to the pedo shortcut and take a dump while waiting for my squad to ready up in the bathroom. Just like the day before, the survivors are not going to be able to get in with the amount of zombies blocking the door. This time though, I'm prepared. I use my sledgehammer to clear the crowd. When that breaks, I whip out my clutched unarmed attack, the double lariat. Thank God this move kills all surrounding zombies in one hit. Thanks to my countless hours as a Zangief main, I am able to clear out the nearby undead with minimal issues. As everyone enters, I pick up my ex and throw her into the bathroom, smashing her head on a bathroom stall. Time is running out. I get them all into Paradise Plaza and leave a waypoint by the warehouse as I lead the nightmare zombies away from my crew. Unfortunately, they are too traumatized from what they had seen in the shortcut and break their pathfinding again. I threaten them with the harmless horde of zombies behind me, and they make it to the warehouse in fear. Seconds left. I'm having flashbacks to the Cliff Trio. I would have made it to the elevator on time with the survivors, but a few zombies had watched one too many episodes of Street Fight UK and shanked this poor white man, stealing all of his $3. This kills any spare time I have left, and I have no choice but to leave these guys in the warehouse while I head into the security room to seduce Jessie. Hopefully they don't start slamming their heads on the floor in fear while I'm gone. I've got literal seconds to get to the goal after I leave the warehouse. If I stop for even a second, it's over. I have more flashbacks to the Cliff ordeal yesterday, giving me enough rage-based energy to make it to the security room at the absolute last second. In the security room, Jessie is delighted by my arrival, smiling and doing a cute head tilt, ready for me to invite her into my ever-increasing harem. We are so fucking back you have no idea. Isabella, jealous of the attention I'm giving to Jessie, entices me to Carlito's hideout with promises of the massive stacks of Dogecoin and AMC stocks he has on his PC. Enticed by the money I can use to fund my own personal bunny ranch, I follow her. As I leave, I get an odd feeling that my hallucination in Wonderland Plaza has finally dissipated. Before we head to the hideout, I grab my survivors from the warehouse. They lucked out considering the circumstances. If only it had ended that well with my ex. After violently sobbing over my one-itis, I do a sick Frank West spin that levels me up and reminds me of a wrestling move that I saw one time that I'll use maybe once or twice in this run. I tell Isabella to take me to the hideout and we're off. The trip to the hideout is mercifully easy. Isabella is aware of the fact that the zombies are only after me, so she simply leads me to the next area without stopping to freak out over a horde surrounding her. I head upstairs to grab some OJ for us to celebrate our newfound riches, and we head to the North Plaza. The hideout had been hidden next to the gun store the whole time. Who knew? I wonder if the screams from the Cletus fight kept those guys awake. In the hideout, Isabella tries to access the laptop while on all fours trying to seduce me. I wasn't really ready for this as my fear of women comes back with a vengeance. I sit next to her and point out a cable hooked up to the PC in order to try and avoid the dreaded S word before I'm ready. She mentions that Carlito set up a smart jam maker that was connected to the mall's Wi-Fi and is using up all of the bandwidth. Before I'm put on the spot to engage with my responsibilities as the man in the relationship, Jessie calls me and talks about some random crap she saw on the monitors. Thank you, Jessie. Perfect excuse to get out of here. Before I leave, I take a particularly dramatic photo of Isabella and head off to see what's going on with Jessie. Before leaving the North Plaza, I yet again raid the gun store for some shotguns and a pistol or two. I've never found too much use for pistols in this run, but Simone used her subconscious psychic ability to ask for a pistol just for her. While on the way to the security room, I get a call from Otis mentioning that the sexy chick I had rescued from the cult is asking for me. Oh god, I just dodged Isabella's advances. Now that babe is after my half-chewed bulge. I steel myself and meet up with Jesse, who shows me that Carlito's being dragged, kicking and screaming, into a butcher shop by a giant obese man. I make a vow to save my brother-in-law from this beast, but first I've got people to talk to in the security room. I meet with Simone, chug a gallon of OJ to impress her, and hand her a gat. I forgot why she asked for it, honestly. I think she wanted to talk about some anime shit or whatever, I don't know. Paul then calls me over and asks if I was serious about teaching him my ways. I tell him that I'm going to be busy for the next few years, but if he makes an appointment with my secretary, I can get him some lessons on how to be as awesome sauce as I am. As I'm doing this, Floyd shakes his head disapprovingly at me because I forgot to get him some stupid old man crap. Anyways, Paul is extremely happy to hear that I will teach him how to be a true Sigma Chad and hands me a bunch of Molotovs as a down payment. This will come in handy for the upcoming boss fight. Now onto the sexy babe's request. I kick open the door, knocking Sophie into the rest of the survivors. Game time. The babe is impressed with my epic Sigma skills and demands to become a part of my goon material. Before I can ask her what she means, she poses seductively. She gives me some material for all the armpit chads out there as I begin to shake violently, realizing what's going on. She continues to pose, giving me some S-tier goon material. If I had shown Kent these photos for the challenge, he would have shot himself on the spot. As I take the next photo, Cheryl looks at me and notices something that immediately kills the moon. It stops before she starts taking her dress off. What, the horse head? I take a single step and realize the wet feeling in my underwear. Oh no, my nofap streak. Why? I sprint out of the security room, intensely sobbing as I had embarrassed myself in front of Cheryl and all of those people. I had involuntarily broken my 3-day nofap streak and showed them weakness. I saw Bill's eyes, he was laughing. I vowed to take revenge on everyone in there. Nobody will be able to leave this mall and tell the world my shame. I take off, vowing revenge. Off to go blow off some steam by saving Carlito and proving myself as a better man than him. I head into the tunnels once again, using the Paradise Plaza entrance to grab the car and speed over to the butcher shop. On my way there, I ponder the logic of having a butcher shop in an underground maintenance area. I'm but a simple Sigma male gamer, not a butcher, but having a butcher shop in what is essentially a garage seems incredibly unsanitary. Whatever. I enter the butcher shop and meet the butcher. Oh, he's Chinese. Never mind, that explains the state of the shop. I try to convince him to give me Carlito, who he has strung up and prepared to carve up. He gets offended when I suggest using sewer oil to cook Carlito is a waste of meat and ignores me while getting ready to butcher Carlito. Nobody puts baby in a corner. I engage him in a fight by throwing a Molotov at him, knocking off a sliver of health. Shit, Paul must have given me the diluted stuff. He picks up a cow carcass and tries to throw it at me, but I take cover behind the other carcasses and avoid damage. I throw another Molotov at him, but miss like a chump. He commits again to the cow toss. I understand sticking to a gimmick, but there's a point where you gotta give up and use actual useful tactics. Larry gets mad when another cow toss misses and reveals himself to be a Dead by Daylight player. This is proof that he needs to die. I escape his clutches and attack, taking advantage of his AI trying to throw knives at me while I hide behind a carcass and whittle his health down with my shotgun. I hit him with a heavy swipe from a butcher's knife, and he finds the irony of it so funny he starts laughing and crying and pissing and shitting and cumming himself on the floor. As Larry is having his episode on the floor, I approach Carlito and tell him that it's over and that Willamette has fallen. Carlito asks about Isabella, and I tell him that she's my fiancé and that his schemes to keep us apart are over. Carlito starts talking about Santa again, and I pretend to listen while I think about Larry's idea to cut up Carlito. Frying him in gutter oil with the side of cooked rocks would be a horrible waste of meat. As Carlito rambles, I think about making some Carlito Carnitas tacos. Either that or some al pastor out of him. I think about the possibility of recipes on his computer. He needed funds to enact his schemes, and thanks to Breaking Bad, I know that criminals use mom and pop fast food joints in order to fund their enterprises. I begin to pressure Carlito about his computer's password, where the recipes for crazy Carlito's tacos are being held. The life is slowly draining from his eyes, but damn it, I will have that computer cracked. Carlito says something ominous about this not being over and starts crying because of that Emperor's New Groove character again. What a freak. When I hear the sound of a post-mortem bowel movement, I know that Carlito's gone for good. I take the necklace off of the meat and grab Larry's comedically large cleaver from the floor and head back into the hideout. And by back to the hideout, I mean head to the grocery store to grab a bottle of wine. Earlier in the day, Floyd had requested a bottle of wine for some reason. I don't know why, I don't care anymore. I grab a bottle of Willamette's worst wine and head over. If I had time, I'd poison these ungrateful subhumans. Luckily for them, I have to go show Isabella her cool new piece of jewelry that I absolutely did not loot off of her brother's corpse. In the safe room, I hand Floyd a bottle of Vietnamese snake wine as he rambles on about some more old man bullshit. Just wrap it up. I can feel everybody's eyes on me, judging me. They're all laughing at me. The violent urges are just barely repressed thanks to the PP boost fulfilling Floyd's final request. I quickly tell Jesse not to listen to anything the survivors say about me before running back to Isabella. I just need Jesse out of the security room for a few minutes, enough to take care of everybody in there and blame it on the zombies. She's a woman, she won't think too deeply into things if I tell her that a nightmare zombie broke in and killed everyone. I return to the hideout. Isabella's red eyes betray the fact that she had been smoking some mad loud while I was gone. I look at her with the infamous Frank West disappointment stare and she turns away, ashamed of her drug addict ways. Despite the fact she's a ran-through weed hoe, I give her the gift I had stolen from her brother's corpse. This act of kindness reminds her of the true meaning of Christmas. Not gifts that can be easily stolen by zombie wasps, but the love of your partner even though you're a disgusting weed addict who deserves to be on the streets. She opens the locket, revealing Carlito's one true love. The love that she doesn't deserve, and the warm voice of John Goodman remind her of the password to Carlito's computer. She turns off the jam maker and the mall's Wi-Fi immediately improves. As soon as the Wi-Fi signal improves, Jessie gives me a call and tells me that she can reach DHS HQ and call in the cavalry. Shit, this gives me no time to get to her and get her out of there before I silence the survivors. As I'm stuffing my underwear full of loaded shotguns, I get a call from Jesse informing me that the government is going to ignore everything happening here and send in a cleanup crew to liquidate everybody. Well, for once the government is actually helpful for once. They've stopped molesting children and drinking their blood in order to help the little man silence his enemies. Man, I think I might actually vote this year. I psychically sense that Jesse curls up into a ball as I begin cheering over the phone. This is absolutely great. All I have to do now is take Jesse to the hideout with Isabella and hide from the incoming Black Ops kill squad until noon tomorrow. The fear of being alone with two women has completely left me. I skip joyously through the nightmare zombies as if they were nothing more than flowers in a breezy meadow as I go to pick up my hoe. When I reach the rooftop, I hear the government's operation starting and call Jesse to see if the security room is clear.
Jesse?
No answer. I'm sure she's fine. I enter the security room and... Oh no, she's gone, man.
I swallow hard because I know that what comes next will hurt you more than me.
I've covered wars, you know.
I bite my lip to try to stop it from shaking. The teeth have broken the skin, and the blood tastes cold to me. After all those nights you kept me warm, I'd hold my breath just to hear you sleep. I must admit, I saw it coming. The air between us had gotten harder yet to breathe. I'd run away if I could help it, but I can't remember to forget your face.
No, making a joke about putting my meat into her mouth won't cheer me up. My Aryan queen, gone. I take an upskirt shot of her for one last goodbye, and man, I just need a minute of sleep. As I lie down in despair, crying over losing Capcom's sexiest harlot, we cut to the entrance plaza. Several cutscene zombies are just sitting there, mad chilling, when suddenly gunfire erupts, dropping all of the surrounding zombies. It appears that the government has recruited the help of the Umbrella Security Service to quell the outbreak. I managed to get my shit together and get moving back to the surviving member of my harem. This part of the game has absolutely no survivors, no psychopaths, no main quest. From here until noon, I'm free to do whatever. The only caveat is that the mall is now filled with Black Ops soldiers that will attack me on sight. They're resistant to gunfire and can deal some heavy damage with their assault rifles. I head into Wonderland Plaza, grabbing another true crime book in order to forget my tragedy. I'm followed into the bookstore by 2 soldiers who will have a hard time hitting me with the 50 zombies who had sprinted in before them. I hit one with the Grundle grab and then start dry humping a zombie in my extreme grief. I blow off the soldier's arm with a shotgun so that he can never tell anyone what I did in front of him. Despite the fact I'm only level 38, this close to the end of the run, I don't sweat it too hard. Killing a soldier grants me 5,000 PP, and these guys respawn endlessly. I head into the grocery store so I can take a quick shortcut to the butcher shop and run into a bunch of the hunk wannabes. The congregation of soldiers here will make it a great place to get the blood rushing in my PP later on. Right now I'm going to be focusing on surviving. Since they're resistant to gunfire, melee weapons are going to be my best bet. Larry's cleaver and Cliff's machete will make killing these knuckleheads much easier. On top of the crazy damage, the true crime book I'm holding is whispering secrets on how to keep bladed weapons for longer periods of time. Now you may be asking, Mr. Unnamed Narrator, why not use the mannequin torso you love so dearly? If I could, I'd pat you on the head and laugh warmly as I explain that while the torso would likely 1 or 2 shot the soldiers, any surrounding zombies would get between me and the enemy and block the hit. Using a powerful blade like the machete will cut through both zombies and humans that stayed in front of me. Then I'd begin to playfully chase you through my tomato garden, slowing down in a coughing fit, and pass on from this world on a beautiful summer afternoon while you run, unaware of my passing, and beaming with joy before it all comes crashing down. I return to Isabella and we listen to the romantic sounds of automatic gunfire from the government death squad surrounding us. She starts talking about Santa again while giving me bedroom eyes. Damn it, I don't care about you or your Christmas obsession, you dumb bitch. Leave me alone. I run out again, wondering about how long I can keep us from being alone with each other until I'm ready for the S word. I grab a book about cooking from Wonderland Plaza as I think about how to get over my fear of intimacy. I wander into the food court and from there run into some Spec Ops guys. I kill both of them with my cleaver. This puts me in the mood for some pizza. Between me and the nearby Sbarro are like 6 of the Black Ops dudes. Despite the countless rounds I'm riddled with, I take them all out with my cleaver and hop on behind the counter. I make a bunch of pizza, which draws in all of the nearby zombies in order to get a taste of Frank's spicy sausage pizza. I taunt them by eating an entire pizza in front of them in 2 bites and mow them down with an assault rifle I had picked off of one of the dead soldiers. If you want the recipe for Frank's spicy sausage and Carlito carnitas, look forward to the Cum Dungeon Gaming cookie stream when we reach 100,000 subscribers. There you will learn our family recipes passed down from generation to generation of sick freak incels. Next up for my goodbye tour of the mall is the entrance plaza. I think meeting Hunk would be really cool, and I'm pretty sure the US has set up their base of operations there. In the entrance plaza, I'm disappointed to only find people cosplaying as Hunk. The area I'm in triggers a PTSD episode because of the horrible shame and pain I had to endure thanks to Shotgun Larry on day 1. I black out and wake up surrounded by dead Hunk cosplayers in a raging full PP bar. I calm myself down by eating some salt and vinegar chips and pick up some light reading from a nearby bookstore. While I'm out and about, I pick up some shoes from Paradise Plaza so that I'll draw less attention of my crunchy, stinky, sexy toes from both the zombies and the thralls of the military-industrial complex. After that is another run to grab a cleaver. Once I exit the tunnels and into the grocery store, I hold off on PP joking in the grocery store with the soldiers and jump through a solid glass window. I pick up another machete from the hardwood store and head into the empty store next door where the Cliff Trio had been held captive. Inside, I grab a book on the floor about survival. Okay, it's time to come clean. I got these books in order to increase the healing I get from food. This wasn't a farewell trip to the mall and the nightmare zombies. I just wanted to be able to enjoy the rich flavors of food I find off of the floor better. I hope you can forgive me. I head back to the hideout in shame for lying to my viewers and take a nap of shame whilst completely ignoring Isabella. As I sleep, I once again have a nightmare of the endless void of shame, while I hear the echoing laughter of everyone who had watched me do something embarrassing, including creaming my underwear during a sexy photo shoot. I received yet another psychic premonition from the entrance plaza. The soldiers have seemed to finish their cleanup, seeing as how all of the surrounding zombies are now lying dead on the floor. The lead hunk cosplayer breaks character by taking off his mask and breathing in the smells of rotten flesh and gunpowder. The shock from realizing that this operation is being led by Hank Schrader from Breaking Bad shocks me out of my slumber, now with 3 extra PP levels and a sword in my underwear. This is a gift from the void, not the result of an uninteresting trip to the movie theater that I didn't bother writing about. It's just about time to head to the helipad. I ask my fiancée if she wants to come along, but she refuses. Whatever. I know she'll be there at the last second. She can't resist my mysterious ways. I leave the hideout and I hear nothing. No gunfire, no moans from the nightmare zombies. It's quiet, peaceful. The military's operation was a success. Let's just enjoy this moment of peace.
Good.
At the end of my casual stroll, I end up in the security room. I noticed a note on the desk where Jessie had put her heavy breasts and wistfully read the note as I remember her titties. Otis left this note and details how he escaped while the government was executing my enemies. If I had read this 2 hours ago, I would have vowed revenge on Otis for his cowardice, but I have made peace with the annoying old man. He did leave me to survivors that helped me grow my PP to a respectable size after all. Well, I'm at the helipad. It's noon. Where the hell's my pilot? Did he abandon me because of the PP jokes? Suddenly, I hear the rotor of a chopper spin up nearby. It is my pilot. He made it. While he celebrates the obvious transformation into the person he sensed I truly was, he is suddenly attacked by one of the nightmare zombies who had used their flying abilities to fly into the chopper and kill my pilot, preventing my means of escape. The zombie takes control and crashes the chopper into the mall. My spirit is broken. The West has truly fallen. I fall to my knees and accept death as the zombies begin to enter the area. They take their time walking up to me. They know they don't need to sprint to get me. Old Frank West is washed up and over. Or so they had thought. Isabella came to my rescue. I knew she was going to come back to me. While she domed some nearby zombies, I succumb to my despair and pass out. I wake up to the nasty-ass, funky-ass smell of the hideout again, finding my hoe waiting next to me. Isabella looks grimly at me. I hope she didn't look at my underwear while I was unconscious. Instead of leaving me because of the fact the zombie made me half of a man, she tells me that I have been infected with the zombie plague. Yeah, it really is over. The West has fallen for the final time. I don't care if Mom will be sad. We would need a miracle to save me now. As I begin to have a mental breakdown over my impending doom, Isabella sobers up enough to come up with an idea. Barnaby used Christmas magic to create the first generation of the wasps. If we can manage to get enough queens and the materials to extract the holiday magic from them, she can manage to force a Christmas miracle to save me. We are so back. I get up and ready myself to enter the mall again to save Christmas and myself. It's still quiet in the North Plaza, but suddenly a drone comes into view. It appears some asshole TikTokers have gotten word about the Willamette outbreak and have come to steal my story. I'll be damned if I let some Zoomers steal the Frank West spin for their own degenerate dances. The drones are set to start playing obnoxious TikTok songs if I'm spotted by them, alerting every single Spec Ops dude nearby. On top of that, it's armed with an airsoft gun to annoy the shit out of me if it gets close enough. I shoot the first of many down and get snuck up on by a Spec Ops guy from a nearby store. This is the first headache of a number of increasingly more and more annoying headaches. This is the beginning of overtime mode. On this day, there are no survivors or any real quests to do. It's a challenge to test the skills that you have learned throughout the last 3 days. The mall is full of soldiers that will quickly wipe out your health, and you have only a day to collect the myriad of items Isabella needs for the Christmas miracle. You're going to need to use all of the weapons, shortcuts, and knowledge you've gained in the last 3 days if you're going to survive. One minor benefit is that zombies don't spawn in majority of the map for the time being. Normally I speed through this generally uneventful day with no issues, however the challenge presents, well, a challenge. I'm currently at level 43. As previously stated, I need to reach level 50 in order to consider the challenge completed. With no survivors to escort or psychopaths to defeat until later, the only means of raising my PP to the legendary 5 mark on my ruler is to mercilessly execute US servicemen. Just another Friday night for me. I begin this trial by running to the grocery store. As previously mentioned, the military has a strong presence within the store. It appears that they're trying to raid the cereal aisle in order to discover why kids love the taste of Cinnamon Toast Crunch. You fools, only kids can see why they love the taste of Cinnamon Toast Crunch, and I'm a child at heart. I masterfully eliminate the enemy, eat a giant red gummy bear, and struggle to decide what type of wine I want to carry in my underwear. I'm going to need all of the healing I can get, and with all 3 health books, 1 bottle of wine will fully heal me. With my alcoholism justified, I head on over to a jewelry store within Wonderland Plaza. Isabella is going to need to see the minuscule amounts of Christmas magic within the wasps in order to draw it out. I grab a pair of magnifying glasses while butchering a man with a wife and kids at home so that she'll be able to do this. As I leave Wonderland Plaza, I notice a soldier get embarrassed because he had been spotted within the Sephora there. I murder his platonic partner and toss him over my head. Picking these guys up by the balls and throwing them onto the ground really hard instantly kills them, so I'll be abusing this move and another I have yet to unlock in order to save weapon durability. After the antics within Wonderland Plaza, I hit up the Starbucks at the food court. At the Starbucks, I grab a blender so that Isabella can blend together enough Christmas magic into some eggnog so that I can ingest it better. When I leave the food court, I make a pit stop within the hardware store to pick up a chainsaw left on the floor. I give the soldier within the store a horror movie moment as I evade his sight while all you can hear is the sound of a running power tool that will be used in a most violent manner. I jump scare the audience watching his video when I pop up behind him and put his insides outside with my weapon. Also, it's not the smallest chainsaw, so it doesn't count. I try the Leatherface routine on 2 other soldiers. While I get one of them, the other shoots the chainsaw out of my hands. I respond by trying to kill him with my bare hands before I give up and hit him with a cleaver. I start getting the shivers when I notice that some zombies have spawned in. I realize that this is likely a hallucination and go about my day as the zombies aren't supposed to be back within the main mall for some time. The lights go off when I reach the entrance plaza. Good, the darkness will give me cover to sneak up on soldiers. I change into a new pair of shoes, murdering the poor soul within the store and pop out from a nearby pillar, scaring the hell out of his friend before I murder him. Within a nearby sporting goods store, I grab a camp stove so that Isabella can simulate the environment of chestnuts being roasted on an open fire in order to concentrate the Christmas magic. Before I leave the entrance plaza for greener pastures, I bully a soldier by turning him into a nightmare zombie for a brief moment before killing him and his squad mate. A commenter on the last video mentioned the idea of nightmare special forces. I'm not sure if it's possible, but this running dude's the closest we're gonna get until the gods of Dead Rising decide to torment me further. Next up, we're going to grab something from Paradise Plaza. I use a skateboard that I had picked up off screen to fight the power and knock over a soldier before I massacre him and his friends. After the murders, I eat a pie and make some quick step for the lulz. This other sporting goods has cold spray, perfect for simulating the chilly conditions of the magic's birthplace, the North Pole. Hopefully, the simulation will be acceptable to the Christmas magic, so that the dark ritual in order to bring about the miracle can begin. Alright, up next I'll need boob sweat of an elf. I don't know where I'm going to get that within a Colorado mall in the middle of September. Suddenly, I remember Jessie's huge heaving milkers and remember that she was yelling at me over the speakers during the bomb threat, likely sweating profusely due to stress. She was a sexy blonde woman with big boobs, and elves are generally portrayed that way in my Japanese animes. Maybe the Christmas magic will get its sick kicks if I substitute Jessie's boob sweat in the recipe. I head over to the security room and check the desk. I pass a perception check, noticing the telltale drops of sweat over some discarded coffee filters, and grab them. They smell like Jesse's perfume, alright. This might be enough to save me. Thank you, my Aryan queen. The smell of Jesse's perfume reminds me that I need to pick up some gingerbread-scented perfume for the Christmas miracle, so I make a particularly uneventful run to grab the perfume inside of the entrance plaza. Hunting down all of these soldiers has awakened something primal in me. I feel as if I can truly tear a man apart with my bare hands. I've seen the zombies do it to me anyway, so I know that the human body is definitely capable of doing that. This knowledge plays a Yakuza-esque cutscene within my brain in which I mimic the power of the nightmare zombies and learn the disembowel move. The cutscene was so cool, you should have seen it. Shame it was only in my head, and an angel told me that I couldn't show it to anyone. I try out my favorite skill on the same soldier in the hardware store, seemingly resurrected. This move is a one-hit kill on all soldiers while giving me invincibility during the animation, making this much more useful than the throw I've been using. My bloodlust rises and the quest for a Christmas miracle is on hold. I must kill. I get my happy butt over to the grocery store. All those soldiers in an enclosed space?
Shining through my window, it gleams like honey, so golden and so sweet. You know most tasty. Driving through Diamond City, I wanna escape the crowds and concrete fog where the hill and sky meet. Sitting inside my pocket, I packed a cupcake to sweeten up my view when I make it up there. And another day fade away, but it's a magic memory, one that I'll be close to my heart for any gloomy day when the view's not quite as sweet as today. Yesterday seems away.
Alright, store's empty now. I take a breather and pick up an entire frozen salmon. Why? Don't question my decisions. It's my poorly made YouTube challenge run. After a trip to the butcher shop, I ready my pristine new cleaver, clear out the store yet again, and once more raid the pharmacy for any drugs that I can sell on the street that I had originally missed on day 2. An overweight hood hustler once said, "The thing about us wise guys, the hustle never ends." I cringe at my bad Tony Soprano impression, and run over to the hardware store, thinking that maybe fighting the soldiers in there will help me forget the cringe I just put out into the world. Inside of the hardware store, I bully some more soldiers, doing my sick unarmed moves and instantly killing them. After turning another one into a nightmare zombie, the surviving soldiers have enough and riddle me with bullets. This wipes out my health, but due to the heroic doses of bullets I've taken over the last few days, I'm only knocked out. The Spec Ops crew take this opportunity to capture me. I wake up in their chopper, tied up and stripped of my horse head. I need to escape this horrible place and get my head back on. I begin to have an autistic episode in order to break the restraints on me. I have to do this silently. If I'm spotted trying to escape by the soldiers, they'll knock me out and I'll have to restart my escape after losing several hours of time. Thankfully, my tarred rage raises my body heat to such a high temperature that I melt the plastic binding me and I'm free. I kill the soldiers off screen and wind up in the park. I'm given a warm welcome by the nightmare zombies as they sprint towards me so that they can tear the head I was born with off. There's no time for that. I have to be right. I have to be whole. I pick up a random back scratcher off of the floor and head into Paradise Plaza. My only weapon does poor damage to the soldiers, taking several hits to knock one down. Great. I finally reach the children's clothing store and finally make myself whole again. The soldiers were definitely not expecting some sort of horse minotaur creature to jump out at them and cut them up with a knife. I have a moment of introspection as I'm severing a Spec Op guy's neck. I'm running around, taking massive amounts of damage I shouldn't be able to survive, avoiding capture and scaring the shit out of my victims before I kill them. Have I become a psychopath? Of the boss that a John Call of Duty will come to defeat? No matter, there's no other main character here but me. I run around the mall again, picking up a sweet pair of sunglasses, the food books, and a cleaver before heading back to the hideout to deliver the components for the Christmas ritual to Isabella. She reveals that since people just don't believe in Santa like they used to, the ritual isn't perfect, and that the miracle that it will bestow onto me will only be temporary. I mention that I'm essentially a time bomb, and that jogs Isabella's memory. She reveals that Carlito had blown all of his Dogecoin in AMC in order to fund not just Crazy Carlito's taco stand, but an orphanage as well. They had used the Christmas ritual to grant the wishes of 50 orphans, but there was a catch. Carlito would silently wish for the children to be infected during the ritual, giving them parents, but infecting them with the wasp at the same time, perverting Christmas and ruining it for America. It's possible that nightmare zombies are currently running amok throughout the country as we speak. This is horrifying. I start to do the Frank West spin out of fear as the power goes out, preventing us from doing the ritual. Isabella mentions that the park's clock tower has a spare generator that we can use. I ignore the horrible idea of using a generator indoors and head out to the park. When I had mentioned that there were no psychopaths in overtime mode, I was kind of sort of wrong. After the power goes out, a Black Hawk begins to patrol the park, being a worse threat than the convicts ever were. When you defeat the chopper, it's referred to as military, not a psychopath. Despite this, it's still a boss, and I'm still gonna fight it. I load up on every firearm within the gun store, steal a rifle from a soldier, and head into the park. It looks like my pilot had crashed the chopper in the park and had smashed a hole within the base of the clock tower. This hole reveals a tunnel that is absolutely swarming with zombies. Maybe this is how the zombies have respawned back in the mall. I kick a zombie back into the zombie hole for having the audacity to step up to me and make a mental note for later before facing the chopper. The fight begins. I dodge the oncoming wave of zombies and jump up on top of the park's picnic area, giving both me and the chopper a clear shot to each other. I ready myself for the fight. This fight always takes me forever. It always feels like I'm actually trying to fight a helicopter with a Fud's hunting rifle. I hit the chopper with some sniper rounds, taking a burst of rounds to my chest. I pick the bullets out of my chest hair and ready myself for the chopper's next strafe. I hit it again with some hunting rifle rounds. I dodge another gunfire strafe and ready my assault rifle. I blast it a few times, not even sure Wait, I killed it? It's flying off? I look around in confusion, shrug, and drop most of my weapons, moving onward while remaining significantly confused. After the fight, I make yet another run through the mall, picking up all of the books and weapons that I had left behind when over preparing for the chopper fight. After gaining my loot again, I head back to the hideout to give the generator to Isabella, only to notice I had left it in the park. God damn it, why must this world be so cruel to a sensitive soul such as mine? I head out to the park and grab the generator. The chopper has respawned again, but as with the convicts, we're considering respawning bosses defeated after finishing them off once. I grab the generator from the tower. This reminds me of the soulless survivor mains I've encountered within Dead by Daylight. I shudder to think of the sick minds that play that game and head back into the North Plaza. I realize that my antics over the course of the night have brought me up to level 49. Thank God this nightmare is almost through. I decide to grow my pee-pee to the screams of multiple soldiers, clearing out the hardware store and grocery store to bring me just a hair before bursting out of my underwear. Isabella gets her generator and lets me know that we're in the home stretch. All she needs now are 10 queen wasps to extract Christmas magic from and temporarily save me. I had a few on me already. I kept them there because their angry buzzing felt good when storing them in the front of my underwear. Just ignore the, say, fingerprints. Yeah, those are fingerprints on the jars, okay? I've reached the part of overtime mode where zombies begin to respawn in the mall, and quite frankly, I've missed them. It was getting rather boring not being slammed to the floor and chewed on multiple times within an hour. I've got to wander the mall now, killing queen zombies and stashing enough wasps right next to my privates in order to gather all of the Christmas magic I can. I gather a few queens here and there, making decent time. However, it turns out that it's that time of the month for me. Inside of the Alfresco Plaza, I'm subtly doubled over in pain thanks to my sperm cramps. Damn it, I planned to be out of the mall before my man period started. I run through the insane amount of zombies in the area, trying my damnedest not to get captured by the special forces again. I avoid hitting them because I want my final level up on this run to be a cool picture of the nightmare zombies. Unfortunately, much like a small European girl surrounded by a group of Somalian refugees, what I want ultimately doesn't matter. I have to use my final level up in self-defense. I kill a soldier and gain enough PP to put me at level 50. It heals me fully, but I cry silently, knowing that my special time has been ruined by these black-clad monsters. At level 50, you unlock the Zombie Walk ability, giving you the power to channel the parasite in your brain and temporarily mimic a zombie. This would make the zombies in the normal run ignore you, but these are the nightmare zombies. I put myself in a safe space and test out the move, only to be smacked by a zombie for my insensitive depiction of their kind. Anyways, I spend the next 10 minutes fighting off sperm cramps and gather enough queens for the ritual. It's just a ritual used to invoke the Christmas spirit. What's the worst that could happen, right? Well, once we gathered enough Christmas magic, the Christmas spirit entered the hideout. Draped in the faded memories of Christmases long past and wearing the face of my mother, he accepted the magic we had gathered, but at a cost. A syringe full of a mysterious blue liquid appeared in Isabella's hands, and then the spirit turned to me, pointing a bony finger. 4, it croaked, in a voice only heard within the minds of madmen. 4. The lights cut out, and the spirit disappeared. I'm only showing you B-roll right now, because I was too busy shitting myself to turn on my recording software. Anyways, with the ritual complete, and its consequences being pushed out of my conscious mind, we finally have my temporary cure. Isabella becomes the first one to stick something within the other in this relationship, giving me enough time to get the hell out of Willamette and figure out what we're going to do for my next dosage. She mentions that her soul has been cursed for this ritual, and that zombies will now be forced away from her, recognizing that she has become some new form of life that is even below them. I realize that we can use this to my advantage within the cave behind the clock tower. I let her know of this possible exit, and we're off. At the tower, Isabella begins having second thoughts. I have not come this far to come under the whims of the Latinxa mind. I tell her she's going in that cave, or else I'll show her something even more terrifying than the Christmas spirit. She begrudgingly agrees, and we enter the tunnel. The zombies spot us and begin to sprint directly towards us. Thankfully, Isabella's cursed aura causes the zombies to be violently pushed away from us. I readjust my junk, and this saves my game. Isabella and I have to reach the end of this tunnel to finally get the hell out of here. We come across our first obstacle, a gate blocking our exit. I use her to crawl through a nearby tunnel like a rat in order to come out the other side and open up the gate for me. I probably should have stocked up on machetes and swords before we left. Isabella opens the gate for the zombie flood to crash onto me. My double lariat skill keeps me above the waves, but just barely. I do not want to die and have to do this shit all over again. I reach Isabella, getting deep enough in her cursed aura to protect myself from the horde. The double lariat really comes in clutch here. We pass through an eye in this hurricane of undead shit and manage to get us both through it. We reach a door and jump headfirst into another horde behind it. I clear out the area as best I can, using my last queen to finish off the surrounding zombies so that we can pass to the next wall. Exhaustion hits as I put Isabella in the zombie hole and get dogpiled by zombies. I'm lucky to find some queens within the horde. They give me just enough breathing room to reach Isabella and grab her hand. Her sickening aura envelops us, barely keeping back the next wave of this undead ocean away from us. We finally see the end of the tunnel. It's guarded by special forces and blocked by a wall and a horde of zombies. But we see a mechanism that could open the gates and let us hijack the military's Humvee. Either that or flood the tunnels. I honestly just don't care anymore. This is too fucking much. I give up on trying to hold my cursed fiance's hand and just give her a piggyback ride, making this significantly easier. Having her on my back not only prevents grabs, but the curse makes it so that zombies can't swipe at me and knock her off of my back. I really should have done this earlier. We reach the lever with no problem, releasing the zombies onto the spec-up guys behind us and leaving the Humvee for us to take. We're home free! I think. I have no idea where we are, but this has got to lead us somewhere, right? God, please just get me out of Willamette. We end up in an obvious final boss arena, instead of the refreshing hot spring I was hoping for, and end up getting jumped by a fucking tank of all things. I briefly relinquish control of Frank West and take control of Isabella. I can hardly think with the voices in her head whispering tales of doom in the coming years as I engage the tank. The tank fight is something completely different from any fight in the game. It's an on-rails turret section where you're being chased by the supposedly advanced tank and have to gun it down. I've always found this to be the easiest boss in the game. You have giant glowing weak points to shoot at the front of the tank and occasionally have to shoot a targeting system that pops up. The targeting computer takes forever to actually lock onto you, and when you damage it, it damages the tank's health bar. As the fight progresses, the tank will shoot missiles out of nowhere and release TikTok drones? The government is so cheap that we're buying Chinese dollar store drones now. In fact, this whole tank feels like a Chinese bootleg. Flashing lights everywhere, fragile as a starving toddler, using drones that transmit all footage automatically to their spyware app. Are we buying weapons from China now? Is this how far we've fallen? Hank has finally had enough of the cheap Chinese bullshit and enters manual mode, one-shotting our Humvee and knocking my conscious back into Frank's brain. I try to sneak away, leaving my cursed fiancée to the hands of the government, but I'm too slow and held at cannon point by Hank. He begins some kind of Metal Gear Solid monologue about targets and the battlefield and humanity's proficiency at destruction, blah blah blah, I don't care. I've gotten blown up, dick chewed off only to painfully grow it back through PP gains, denied milkies from a sexy blonde mommy, cancelled, and lost my semen retention streak. The rage over the ordeal that I have suffered over the last few days boils my blood. Hank was too busy to realize something though. These are the nightmare zombies, and they're gonna follow me to the ends of the earth. The incoming horde triggers the tank's automated defense systems and gets the cannon away from me. I take my opportunity to jump onto the tank, smacking Hank in the face and starting the final battle. Hank's boss fight is appropriately dramatic. We're both unarmed, on top of a tank, and surrounded by the nightmare zombies. It's all boiled down to this: my final challenge before I leave here and break the Christmas caper story, giving me countless fangirls to emotionally manipulate and dress up as Jesse. My Street Fighter skills once again come to my advantage. I use Guile's somersault kick on Hank after he fails to tackle me. This does a great chunk of damage to him, putting him on the defensive. I try to get that damage again, but to no avail. His block saves him from all damage, or so I had thought. I realized that his block only blocks a percentage of the incoming damage, and that I'm still doing damage to him. So I continue to spam the somersault kick. Spamming the kick knocks the teeth out of his mouth and his nose out of place before I hit him with another kick that has the combined power of every single horse I've eaten in my life. This brings him down to less than a quarter of health. We both fall into the zombies and immediately jump back up to continue the fight. I feel the power of the equine pushing through my veins. I flash back to the first day, those first zombies in the entrance plaza. I know why I couldn't jump kick and get those zombies off of me. I was saving the power from it for this very moment. In Hank's final moments, he looks at me and seemingly regrets being a dollar store hunk cosplayer. He falls into the horde and they fall upon him. The zombies finally calm down, temporarily sated by the sacrifice I had kicked to them. The zombies seem to forget Isabella's curse and try to attack her. She screams for me, but I can't hear her. Everything I had gone through in the last few days only to end with a cursed concubine and the murder of a high-ranking military official. All I could muster is a final scream to the heavens, a scream that asks God, why didn't you make me into the horse I was all along? There is no answer, just the number 4 in my head and the odd feeling like I'm running out of time.
It's Frank. Frank West. Remember that name, because the whole world's gonna know it in 3 days.
I think you better see for yourself. This, my friend, is hell. You can find me in the nightlife, under the club light, feeling alright, yeah. So I'ma pop another pill, outside in the hills. I ain't worried about nothing, I got time to kill.
One hell of a journalist, aren't you, Frank? A hot-headed, underhanded, hotshot paparazzi with nothing better to do than to invade people's privacy. I tried.
I feel like pure ecstasy, and I don't even know who the fuck's standing next to me. Hey, running out of time.
Covered wars, you know.
You can find me in the nightlife, under the club light, feeling alright, yeah. So I'ma pop another pill, outside in the hills. I ain't worried about kill.
Well, that's the end of the Nightmare Zombie saga. We here at Come Dungeon Gaming would like to thank you all very much for watching and subscribing. Hopefully our nasty Coomer jokes and insane ramblings can keep you entertained for years to come. Here at the end of the video, I'd like to ask you a question. We have a few more Dead Rising videos planned and would like to see which one you'd prefer to see first. We have the only Dead Rising video you'll ever need, in which I walk the audience through Infinity Mode while throwing in smaller walkthroughs so that you can 100% the game with all of the knowledge that I've gathered throughout the years. This will be written in the same vein as this Nightmare Zombies playthrough. We have either that or another challenge run titled Can You Beat Dead Rising 2 Off the Record with an Eating Disorder? I'll let the name speak for itself as your imagination runs wild. Let us know in the comments below and vote in our community poll, which will have 2 more secret options on what you'd like to see next. Once again, the Come Dungeon Game thanks you all very much for watching. We also like to extend a special thank you to Stippo and the people from the Dead Rising forums who had worked on this mod tool that I have been using. Thank you all very much and have a great night.